On Halloween night, the great pumpkin rises out of its pumpkin patch and flies through the air with his bag of toys for all the children.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Project Manga podcast, where we cover One Piece, My Hero, Black Clover, The Promised Neverland, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen week to week. Back this week covering Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 25. I'm your host, Eagle.
It's Kiko.
Noxie.
And Nickums.
And as always, before we get started, we would like to quickly say, go ahead and slap a like on this video and subscribe to the channel real quick, and we will bring you content weekly about, Jump and other more casual kind of tie-in topics that we do on Fridays usually as well.
Yes.
Also, go ahead and visit that link tree in the description box down below, where you can find links to any and all of our online communities, as well as audio listening platforms to consume the podcast on, and links to support the podcast if you'd be so generous. And with all that said, how you guys feel about this week in Jump? Got a full week again this week.
Full week, but Promised Neverland is over
awesome
like
week.
next week.
We'll get there.
probably.
We'll get there.
Right?
But
It's
it's a
getting
break
there. Probably the
next
next 5 chapters, probably for sure.
It's a break next week?
And that's
for
probably a long
Promised Neverland,
estimate.
isn't it?
Is that what it
No.
said?
No.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay. But yeah,
Next
they-
chapter, Sunday, May 31st.
but I know One Piece is on break next week, which is crazy because
I was just trying to stretch it out because I loved it so much. I was hoping I'd get a next
It says the next chapter is coming
Oh
in 7
no,
days
One
on the
Piece
Promised
break
Neverland.
next week?
yeah,
No.
you didn't know, Nick?
Yeah,
You
I
didn't
knew.
know?
I didn't know.
Oh no,
Ugh.
dude, what a fucking
Again.
come on, man.
Crazy week though. Great
Yeah,
week.
super
Great week.
crazy.
Yes, amazing
Oh, yeah.
week.
Dude,
Well,
Jujutsu
and with
Kaisen.
that said,
Yeah.
let's just jump right into it then.
Yeah.
Chapter 107 of Jujutsu Kaisen, the Shibuya Incident Part 25.
This shit is so crazy.
Multiple color
Hell yeah.
spreads. What?
Multiple color
Yes,
spreads.
we got the color cover and then the color spread.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
The
Wow.
spread is really tight. The
Yeah.
spread is
I love
Red
really
is
tight.
super tight.
I love the Kyoto kids are in there. I was
Yeah.
real happy
Yeah.
to see, Maki,
What-
Maki, and, Panda.
Yes.
The way, I was just going to say, we're on the way Panda is grinning menacingly, bro. I'm like, yo.
I like that panda art too. That's
Yeah.
good. That's
Yeah,
good. That's
it's
cool.
so good.
The Sukuna
Panda's
in the
my
top
guy, bro.
left. The Sukuna in the top
Also
left.
tight.
With Geto with
Yes.
the box and then like the Chibi
Yup.
Gojo in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
and then Maki's like grabbing food, like grabbing Megumi's like leg. And someone online was like looks like she's about to launch him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's perfect. That's
shit.
really fucking tight. I love
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. So this chapter was all action.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
but it was so fucking cool. And there's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it gives us a little bit more insight into Naobito's like ability, just with the dialogue here, with like the resolution of the frames. Shout out to Nick last week, basically calling his entire ability to a T, which is fucking sick. At least
Mostly just that it was video based or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't think that was
I
like
think you said something
a
about
crazy
frames. You
call.
said something about frames and resolution though too, I believe, last week.
No, but I was just saying that it's probably related to video and
Yeah.
videos have frames and pausing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't think that was a crazy guess or
I think
anything,
it was
but
pretty crazy.
but no one else got it. So
Well, so
right.
I mean, expanding upon that, like you can kind of see a couple of different clues to more about his
Yeah.
ability. Like,
Yeah.
so the biggest thing that was crazy to me is when fucking Kraken boy over here hits him with the throws down the fucking water ball and the
Yeah.
water crashes evereverywhere.
Yeah.
And now Bito has a bunch of little frames. He's
Yes.
not wet at all. He just sucked up all that water in
Yeah,
those frames.
yeah,
And
that's-
those are
Dude,
it's
Dude,
just
I didn't
gone.
even realize that.
And
That's
so
amazing.
Fucking sick, dude.
He's got like pocket dimensional storage, like
Yeah.
with that shit too. Like
Yeah.
that shit is wild. Like that's super fucking tight. Like, and
Hell yeah.
Wow.
when you look at
Yeah.
it that way, I mean, you gotta expect. Okay, his movement speed is he's speeding up his own frames,
Yeah.
and he's slowing down his enemy's frames, and to a stop if he wants to.
Yeah.
But I assume he could
That
slow it down.
that definitely could be it. Now,
Yeah.
what about this instead? Since he can capture things and remove them from this plane of
I know
existence.
exactly where you're going.
What if he's like the hand from JoJo Part 4, Okuyasu, where he removes space, and so he can remove the space in between you and me, and then he teleports to you. So what if he is removing bits of space with this ability and teleporting a little bit?
Kind of like a fucking video like progress bar, like a YouTube, bar, and he's just
sick.
like, and he, because
I was gonna go ahead here.
Because Nanami is, making a comment like, "Yo, Maki, that's a little bit too quick. Like for there's like no channeling time for his Jutsu Shiki. He said that last chapter, and then we obviously get the confirmation of like frames and resolution in this chapter, and like sure it could just be like fast forward, you know what I mean? But if it's like a progress bar, and he's just taking away, length of the progress bar, and then just like showing up at the next place.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That'd be super sick.
That'd be super
clearly,
sick.
Clearly he
little mini
moves
teleport
unnaturally
jumps.
fast.
Yeah, unnaturally fast. Yeah.
Yes.
Like taking those frames away. Yeah, like kind of like Kiko was saying. Yeah.
See, but one thing that, man, it just kind of has me a little bit on the fence. I mean, he's definitely moving faster, but there is a smoke, bubble or whatever behind him. What panel is that? Let me find out what panel. Like, so it would be, I mean, it says page 20 on fucking Viz, but so he flies above. Okay, when the Kraken tries to float above, to back out of the fight kind of. And now Bito appears behind him and kicks him, back down.
Into the ground.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he's behind him again, and there is a like
like a movement, like sliding.
He moved and kicked up some dust. He moved and kicked up some dust. Right. So that makes me think it's more like the hand. It's more like Zahando, where he's removing space, and then he just launches into that other side of the space he removed or whatever. Because that would make him move to a place.
Right, not a teleport.
But if he increases his own frames in his running speed or in any of his own moving speed, I feel like it would do the same thing still, right?
Yeah. High speed is the same thing as teleportation at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'm still thinking like, I mean, it could be. I feel like all three of these are easily could be the possibility.
Definitely.
It could
moving
be
his
everything.
Progress bar or whatever.
He doesn't have to have one set like speed or movement type. You know what I mean? He could be he could be fast forwarding. He could be mini teleporting. You know what I mean? In regard to like removing frames and then just like being here in one frame, and then there were like 3 frames in between where he's going to end up, and he takes those frames away and just ends up right here. Yeah.
Well, for the record, I'm not saying he's taking away frames. I'm saying like Kiko said, he's taking away the water that was going to make him wet. So he took that water and put it into those frames, and then he's not wet. He made the water leave. I'm saying he could take space, physical reality, and put it in there and teleport or whatever.
Yeah. Make it leave. Yeah. Exactly.
That's just like 3 different ways to say like the same thing. I feel like though.
Yeah, they're all very similar for sure.
I would say they're subtly different.
And they all could be the one that it is in reality or whatever.
But man, this paneling, this choreography.
Yeah, the choreography.
Let's get into the choreography here, because wow. One thing that I want to say is, okay, so they all just jumped this guy, which is fucking sick. Yeah, which I love to see that. Okay,
well, it's great that we're reinforcing how strong this fucking high grade curses really are. Okay, Gojo makes him look like nothing, but that's Gojo, right? Like, and this is clearly, and it just all the power scaling feels exactly right and makes sense every single time.
Right.
I mean, even with this one where it's like now Bito technically has help here, it doesn't really feel like he needs help. He's kind of just using these guys as, all right, well, hey, I got, I'm gonna just use you guys as pawns. Kind of, not really, but you may as well. If you're gonna focus your attention on any of these guys, that's just a bad idea against me.
Right.
I'm not gonna take the disadvantage against you and not use it.
Right. Exactly.
So
the logic is there. And I was just talking about like going into kind of like dovetailing off of what you were talking about with Gojo, kind of being out of the picture. Him being the center of attention for so long, and then removing him, amplifies, you know, like pretty much every other aspect of the series that much more because of how long he's been in the forefront, right? So you have like all of these other characters' development that seems to shine way brighter than if he was just like never as prominent to begin with, and they just got natural development, you know, throughout the series. You know what I mean? Because like seeing Nanami, Maki, and now Bito in this situation right now is so much more exciting, knowing that Gojo would have just waxed this dude. You know what I mean? And then like seeing that like development on that side, just getting any kind of like other character focus, plus the stakes are raised higher because you know Gojo won't just walk in here and evaporate this dude. So like so I think that was like kind of like planned by Gege maybe in a way, and he's not just a huge Gojo fan, you know what I mean? I think that was done on purpose.
You can definitely tell that there's some like good writing going on when, even though you know that Gojo would scrape all these bad guys, that the fights are still really engaging. You're still on the edge of your seat and you're still enjoying yourself. You're not thinking, well, who cares? This guy's weak anyway. Like Gojo, just scrape him or whatever. But it's still always good. So like that's just really nice writing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
and Maki makes a comment here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kiko.
I was just saying, like, you can tell the separation in power here. So okay, even though Nanami and now Bito are both grade 1 sorcerers, right? Yeah. You know, there's still a difference in ability, you know, between them. They're definitely, you definitely can feel there is another level, you know, whether there's, you know, a ranking for it or not.
Well, now Bito calls himself Supreme. Now Bito calls himself Supreme Grade 1, and like we had a conversation about whether or not that was like a self-appointed thing because he's like that cocky or arrogant or egotistical or whatever, but like we could see that like you're saying that there's a difference between Nanami and now Bito, a pretty significant
and he lumps himself in like, hey, we're 2 grade 1s, you know, like he even says that to Maki, you know, like, hey, you know, watch 2 grade 1s at work, basically, you know, like, and he does kind of you know, liken himself, you know, it feels like, okay, they should be on par when he says it that way. But then you're right, I remember that the Supreme Grade 1 talk we had definitely was,
I mean, I consider it kind of I consider it kind of really similar to like how the S rank shit is in Solo Leveling. How it's stated at one point where it's like a lot of people are S rank. But there's no numerical way to calculate and nail down between the gap between these people and like, okay, what's the difference between this guy and this guy? They're both S rank, but this dude would wax. And so then you even, and then what was about the Supreme Grade? I think that might be a possibility because I mean, obviously you have like the S rank and then you have nation level hunters and Solo Leveling. So I think Supreme Grade could definitely be a thing
the nation
where
level version.
There is like really sick motherfuckers like Gojo probably would be a Supreme Grade, but Gojo is really just Gojo, like he's his own class.
But yeah, dude. So then Maki comes in like and tries to attack with the curse tool, and the Dagon, the curse. We finally get
Dagon,
this dude, Dagon.
Probably my favorite curse spirit so far. On his water bending shit, bro.
Let's go. So yeah, so she says that, and he's gonna kill her here, and then now Bito obviously puts him in, you know, the frame, and she says like, I would have died if that old man didn't, you know, step in. That's so humiliating. And this just goes back to, you know, like it's like Kiko was saying with the scaling, right? Like Nobara 1v1 versus Hub was at, you know, a clear disadvantage. You know what I mean? Megumi and Yuji fight that other sorcerer 2v1. Could Megumi have probably beat that dude by himself and like Yuji was just there to get strength feats? Maybe. You know what I mean? Like that's the conversation that I was having online too. But I mean, it would have been brought to like extreme, you know, high diff or extreme diff, like, you know, arguably. But that's a you know, that's a curse. That's like a shaman basically. But these grade 1 curses, Nanami says like this is grade 1 and above difficulty. So then when Yuji has a 1v1 against a grade 1 curse, it goes kind of like to high diff, and then he loses. You know what I mean? Maki is trying to fight a grade 1, and obviously is about to die fighting it. You know what I mean? So like it's like a blanket. I mean, you know,
jumps in and tries to throw one attack and is about to die.
Right. So like the scaling is
not even fighting it.
Yeah, the scaling is proper there. And let's just talk about like how cool it is that when Naobito puts this curse into a frame, other people can attack the frame that aren't Naobito.
Yeah.
But Hanami comes in with the fucking cleaver
Yeah.
Cuts the frame, bro.
That's such a dope. That's such a dope.
But that's something to talk
But
about
I'm glad-
too, is he blocks it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we lose. Lost eagle. Oh.
I don't know. He hits him, and I think
You have to start. You kind of have to start over because you kind of like froze for a sec.
Oh, did I freeze?
Yeah.
I think that panel that you referenced is a good hint to his ability, because he doesn't really hit him with any significant force, but it looks like he has a card or a frame on his hand, and it says flap. It doesn't say like thum or boom or anything like that. That would signify he's actually hitting him very hard.
Yeah, flap is just a touch.
Like
he
just has to touch you with the frame, and then he can seal you.
Or his hand. It's hard to say what he's doing there, but it's just like a light touch.
The only reason
I agree.
Would say he has a frame in
Eagle,
between there is because of that panel on page 8 where he has the frames like floating around him at the beginning of that dialogue, which I loved, between him and Dagon, where they're both like yelling about random shit.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah, he's like,
hey, the one where he sucks the water in.
Okay, I guess I agree that it definitely could be in that way.
Frames and expand them. That's probably how he sucked the water in. Took it, expanded it, sucked the water in that was coming at him, shut it in.
Maybe.
And then he can also hit you.
Another thing he could have done there. Say he's facing a whole wall of water. What if he went a bunch of like rapid touches, touch, which made all these frames. That was the contained thing. He didn't put a frame on it. He just activated, like 10 or whatever, how many frames are in this panel. And so then when he touches Dagon, he's just going touch and activate his ability. But I totally grant you that under that hand, when he touches Dagon, could be a frame that he's using to touch the Dagon with.
Seems more likely that if he's going to suck in that mass amount of water, that Maki clearly has the dialogue like this. If we were underground, we would drown. Like this is a shit ton of water. I feel like he's expanding one, or maybe just just an array of them that's off screen, obviously.
Yeah, an array.
One big giant one, and it gets just broken into tiny little, get grid broken into pieces, whatever it needs to do. But I feel like you just need a huge. For him to just like start touching water sounds crazy to me,
Yeah.
I mean, but how else do you? Do the ability, right? Like,
open it up.
But there's not one frame. There's not one big frame of water. There's like 8 frames.
Yeah. See, but think about it. What if he did that in a bunch of different directions around him, a bunch of big ones, and then shut them all back down again to just
Yeah. So this is literally a question that will not get answered until the anime.
Until the anime.
Until we see it in motion, or until it gets exposition later or something. So far it could be anything we're talking about is on the table.
I just got goosebumps.
I'm just saying, if he touches all the water like that and stops it that way, like that's
that makes that kind of like makes sense for our speed feats that we were talking about with him, right? Where he kind of like like all of the frames for his movements of him actually like touching the water are just being sped up or removed,
and I agree
now
with
he's
that,
at the point where
I was just saying, but you would have to, he'd have to, in which this isn't out of the realm of possibility at all.
Yeah.
He has to be using his ability on himself and on the water at the same time, which, would be extremely high level application, I feel like, of an ability like that that's so broken.
But he is like old and experienced, so like he would be the type of character to have that really developed.
Yep. So I mean, it could,
that would be so crazy.
It can't go that way, but if that's what happened, I really want to see panels on that. Like, just like, or this is what happened.
Yeah.
So this panel of him with the frames floating, that's after he sucked the water in.
Yes.
You could see the water.
Okay, so I think maybe he can throw all those out, like Kiko was saying, like throw a bunch out and then expand maybe them all, and
or maybe
an array of them.
Because like look at the way his body the way his body is like positioned too. Like maybe he threw a bunch of the frames out and they're already this small and they're just like sucking in the big amounts of water into the already little frames. And
I do agree. It's like he's moving.
It's very hand wavy.
Yeah, it's like he's moving his hand slowly, and in the trail of his hand appear these frames as the ability activates or something.
That are
it's just such a cool looking ability.
Fucking sick.
What if he can also add like a wind tunnel effect onto this ability?
Yeah, it's like a vacuum. It's like a vacuum. Yeah,
exactly. And have them sucking the water in. That's what you were saying. That is something similar to that.
Yeah, that's what Nox is saying here. But I'm just saying to stop that mass amount of water. That's like a 360 degree almost. know, something you at least a whole good
at least 180.
Yeah, at least 180
in front of you stop. So like it just. I mean that seems like
he is also like to the side too, so he could be making this motion too. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I'm not saying you couldn't because
either way though, I mean it's really
I just Google search Dagon, bro.
Dagon is
a Lovecraftian, Lovecraftian
story.
Horror. Like
and he's also like a pre-biblical, like Near Eastern ancient fish god.
Yes.
Same, and that's where Lovecraft, I'm sure, got that term from, whatever, because he's big into Near Eastern and Egyptian
and
kind of storytelling, or whatever.
Like, you know,
and this dude looks like Cthulhu. Yeah. Dagon does. You know what I mean? The tentacles from the mouth, the wings.
Yeah, it's a very Lovecraftian.
This is a super Lovecraftian, and of course, Lovecraft. One of his big fears was the sea. Not fear, but you know the source of the horror often was the sea. Kiko's biggest fear, you know. So like definitely a scary thing. Yeah.
Stay my ass on land.
I'll swim in the shallow, but like deep water, I'm not fucking with deep water, bro.
Wow, bro.
I'll swim in the shallows of the ocean, but you start talking about going out, fuck that shit. I'm not trying to get fucking eaten by a shark or swept out by an undercurrent. I ain't fucking
it's definitely the great unknown, you know what I mean? Like where like there is way more underwater than there is on land.
That's just
way more. Way more.
That just makes me love M.A.N.G.A so much more that he's using fucking like Cthulhu mythos in his fucking storytelling. Like
right.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean links of that level, like or just references to just culture and pop culture of that level and ingraining it into your story like seamlessly like that and so easily to where you could like, oh damn, this dude's like a Cthulhu fucking water controlling like fish god motherfucker.
Yeah.
His name's Dagon. You look that up and see that fucking perfectly aligns with all this shit. And you're like, oh fuck that. Basically my point is that's some Oda level shit. That's some Togashi level shit.
That's definitely Oda and Togashi kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah, and then
you're totally right.
His like little like water shield is a cool like application.
The drawing on that panel where it shows that water shield, that is so cool looking. I love that
he has
panel.
The rope around him.
Yeah, the rope around him. The rope around him.
Exactly.
That water rope.
What made me love him the most. I'm like, yo, on this water bending shit.
Yeah.
Like,
yes,
dude,
super sick.
Yeah. And he has a dialogue here. He's like, okay, so not even like 2 grade 1s can
damage,
exercise this thing. You know what I mean? Which is
that's the dialogue I was talking about. That makes them seem, you know, the same level, but obviously that's not true. But I also like what Nanami says right there, where he says no damage, or rather, it feels like it has boundless HP. So it's like the water is absorbing the damage. Probably.
Sure.
Probably.
Wow. And then
I wonder if what if it has some Logia type ability?
No,
like, what if this thing is water embodied? I don't think that's not probably it.
Oh well,
because I mean, he was able to touch him. He was able to touch him with the frame.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, but you can touch water though. I mean, like, what if it just doesn't do anything if you hit him?
It just clearly seems like he's like, you know, hitting a solid like thing. Obviously, you can just solid water.
Right.
You know what I mean? But his attacks aren't like going through him or anything like that, like a Logia would. So that's why I initially was just like, no. But no,
for sure.
Yeah, that could be sick though.
One panel that really stood out to me that was like, it wasn't a huge panel. It wasn't like super important, but it just really stood out to me and I really fucking loved it, was that panel of Naobito when he's just like, bat! He just like slaps the thing. He's like, a shield of water, huh? Tat! And it's just like, he just smacks it once to see
he's
like
not
how powerful it is.
He's not scared to touch it with his bare hands, where the other two have weapons. You know, the other two don't hit anything without weapons. He's like, what the fuck?
He's like, what's going on?
Like, this thing's pretty good here. It's keeping me back.
All right.
That's so fucking sick. But okay, so going into this like last like little ass whooping that Naobito gives him, kicks him in the side of the head, goes flying down, teleports behind him, punches him in the side of the head, crushes him into the fucking ground, and then fucking like pumps him into the fucking ground. And then he thinks he's done and he expands his domain, and it's the exact same place that the villains hang out in earlier in the series.
Yes, I noticed that as well.
Out of here. I did not even think about that.
Yes, it's the exact which makes sense because there was always that like 4th dimensional door that was just like sitting there, like, you know, that didn't lead to, like, you know what I mean, like, it was just like an extra dimensional door.
Well,
you know,
and the domain is a physical.
Geto walks in that door.
Yeah.
He actually opens the door and comes into there, and he's like, "Wow, this is a really calm domain. This is different from most domains out there, right?" You know, like, and you get to see, you know, like the little chibi version of Cthulhu or whatever, Dagon in the water,
floating in the
just
water,
like chilling in the water, like, you know, while Mahito's sitting there sipping daiquiris on the fucking beach or whatever.
Underneath the palm tree and shit, like.
So do you think this is another dimension or another location on Earth?
No, it's a domain.
This is the domain, right?
It's just a domain.
It's
it's just a space that you can go. It's like another dimension.
It's basically Limitless Void or what's
Mahayana Prison.
Sure.
But the thing here,
so I guess what you're saying is you're just thinking he's trapping Naobito.
Yeah, and maybe
it's not gonna do anything.
Well,
just gonna keep him there.
Well, I mean, like
no. Just like any
when
domain
Yuji, when Mahito's expansion was out,
from the outside, it just looks like a big bubble.
It's like a physical bubble in the world, and you can bust into it, or I guess maybe walk into it from the outside. Maybe you can walk into this one because he said it's so calm.
Yeah.
Maybe this one isn't like a super
it's easy to
hostile
bust
domain.
Usually.
It's easier to bust in than bust out because you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by going inside of it. So there's not as much defense from the outside going in as there is from the inside going out because it's meant to trap you.
Yuji busts right in, you know, like that's the thing. Like you don't put that condition. That would be one more condition you need on your ability, which will lessen its effect. So like you have to have that, you know, disadvantage. Exactly. That you could get 2v1'd or more in your domain because anybody can just really infiltrate it.
Yeah, but once you're inside of a domain, you have sure hit conditions. Yeah.
What I was thinking
unless simple domain,
unless simple domain,
or you domain expansion, which Nobito's gonna do, right? He's gonna use a fucking TV domain expansion and just
counter expansion, dude. What is this domain gonna be?
He's gonna like have a little remote control or like a dial. Like, no, I'm just gonna do a different shit.
It's just gonna turn to static, dude.
Different channel, please.
I think
it's gonna be Poltergeist.
I think this domain really could be like some really new and refreshing, like interesting shit that we haven't seen from a lot of domains before. Because like if you think to like Limitless Void, as soon as you're in the shit, Gojo doesn't even have to do anything. You're just like filled with all the universe's information. You're just like Halloween. You know what I'm saying?
Halloween.
That's Gojo's like guaranteed attack, right? Because like when you're in someone's domain, their attacks have to hit you, right? And like every domain has a way to ensure damage on the the opponent. So obviously, like some ideas of like that inside of this like island domain or this resort domain or whatever from Dagon could be like, obviously we'll probably get a tsunami, obviously, like a giant tidal wave, like a hurricane, you know what I mean? Like we'll probably get all types of natural like water disasters inside of this.
Something in the domain has to like hit you to activate its effect, right? In most cases. Or at least,
I think just the domain itself,
an attack from the user.
Yeah.
Think about M.A.N.G.A versus the cursed spirit. She just was sucked in the domain, and she just broke.
She avoided it. She avoided it.
No, she didn't avoid it. No, she didn't.
Oh, she avoided it.
She would like, okay, so that cursed spirit that she was fighting had like a 3-level, like condition to ensure damage, and she would trap you in the coffin. Well, first she would target you, whatever one had the biggest curse energy output. And then she would trap you in the coffin and then drop a fucking boulder on you. And then M.A.N.G.A would get hit by the boulder, but would still but was attacking the boulder at the same time and breaking through it. But she was still taking damage. She said, I can't take this hit too many more times. You know what I mean? So she wasn't avoiding it. She was just dealing with it.
Was that in a domain or was that... Just because you're in a domain doesn't mean the attacks will kill you, will definitively... hit you.
Or even really work on you. I mean, if they're hitting you, does that really mean it's causing you damage?
Right, exactly. So they'll definitely land their mark, but is it guaranteed to kill you? No, I don't think so. But that's the disadvantage that the domain. That's the advantage that the domain grants the caster, and the disadvantage that it grants the opponent. That it hits the opponent with. Yeah.
So do you guys think this domain is more the type like that grave monster or whatever, where it's like maybe a set of attacks in here instead of activating as soon as you're in it?
No, I think it's like Jogo's. It's going to be an instant. I think it's going to be like Jogo's. It's going to be an instant fucking tsunami.
Oh, Jogo's, yeah.
I don't even
think because Jogo's just activate right away with fucking fire. Obviously,
yeah, but Iron Coffin Mountain though, like we didn't even get to see.
It burns and kills you right away.
I mean, like it's probably like heat. Like the heat is probably like a passive like thing, is that it's extra hot in there. But I don't think we saw his domain attack specifically because Gojo instantly countered with his own domain. So I don't think we actually saw like I don't think we actually saw like what Jogo's domain actually did. Besides, obviously, it just being really fucking hot in there. You know what I mean?
I personally, for this domain, I think it would be really cool if there was no attack at all, and this is actually a deserted island.
You're just stuck
domain.
In it.
You're just stuck.
Well, there's then counter expanding will always.
But what if because you don't take damage, right?
There's counter expand.
Yeah, there's no counter. And breaking in is impossible, right?
God.
So you could say from the other abilities, right? That you can't have that condition of breaking in is also hard because that would make your ability harder to do. But only if your ability is attacking. If your ability does nothing, if it's just you're in this island now, have fun, bye. You could have a lot of other techniques or other conditions or whatever.
That could be something crazy that you actually just called and figured out. Is that like, because the rules that we know for domains is that like they damage you, so breaking in from the outside, since it's a big risk to you, is really easy.
Right.
But that could be something that's crazy if like Nick said, your domain has no, intended negative effect towards who you're putting it in.
Negative effect, right.
It becomes impossible to break in or out of.
Right.
And it's
you're just trapped.
It's just a separated space. And you have to either kill them or die in there.
Right. Because certainly like a tsunami is scary. The ocean is scary, but so is a deserted island. A deserted island is definitely in the ocean category, and it's definitely terrifying.
Yeah, wow.
I'm rolling with Nick here. I'd love that.
That would be super fucking cool to see. Wow.
Because just to have that aspect, that kind of different twist on the domains introduced into the series would be another this fucking awesome.
What if Nabito just gets grabbed and drug into the ocean?
See, that's the thing. Or
Kraken tentacle.
Because Dagon is in there. Dagon is in there with him, right? So he's probably in the water. Probably grabs him, brings him into the fucking middle of the fucking ocean, and like, fight me here now.
Fight me in the water.
Wow.
That's
you think I look like Cthulhu? Wait till I get as big as Cthulhu. That'd be sick.
That's wild.
I'm pretty much ready for anything with this fight. I'm just ready for anything.
Yes.
Welcoming, open to anything. This is so far super sick.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all I have.
All right, well, that's all I had for Jujutsu.
Yeah, man.
We can go ahead and move on. Chapter 70 of Chainsaw Man. Pinchu.
I think this is chapter of the week for me.
Oh,
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. I want to say Jujutsu Kaisen, but this shit was there was
the way she said
there was such an eerie, like, I don't know, like, just like the atmosphere in this chapter just felt so like it just felt scary. I don't know, like,
there's a lot here, whether we can really decipher it or not. I believe there's more here than we really can grasp, because Fujimoto is just playing gungi when we're playing checkers, man. I can't fucking, like, when you like look at the symbolism of, like, so you got the big ass fucking book, that's written and illustrated by Cosmos, Halloween, the book. It's like, is that like, symbolic for like the horror of knowing, or is it bigger than that? Like, is it could be like the fact that, so it could just be nothing, like this Halloween chant over and over and over again could be nothing, but it could also be like very important, that Halloween could be a very important day, obviously, when devils when people dress like devils and shit like that on Halloween, and there's like the Day of the Dead, the Day of the Dead, Hallows Eve, is that
All Hallows Eve?
Like, that's, I want to say that's the day when, like, the barrier between the spirit world or hell or whatever you want to call it is the weakest.
Yeah.
Wow, you are blowing.
What's that fucking movie?
That's
Hold on.
Hocus Pocus.
Yo!
For Christmas.
Yeah.
There's a
Hocus
movie
Pocus.
that's literally about that where
There's a
whatever,
scene
we
in
don't
the
need to
beginning.
talk
There's
about
a scene in the
It's
beginning.
very similar to that concept where
Yeah.
Halloween is the day that the barrier between like the underworld and the human world is very thin.
Weakest,
and,
yeah.
like,
It is Hocus
Yeah, these-
Pocus, but there is a
these-
different movie
Yeah,
Eagle's
yeah.
thinking about as well.
Oh, okay,
Oh, okay.
okay. But yeah, there's a scene in
Am
the
I
beginning.
thinking about the witch one?
That's Hocus Pocus, bro.
I don't know. Yeah,
I've probably
Hocus
seen
and Three
both, but
Witches. Okay,
That's a good concept.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like-
there's a lot.
That's my
I mean,
point.
There's shit. I mean, I don't know. Somebody else want to talk for a while because I'm gonna go for a while.
Well,
think,
I
so.
mean,
Right.
I just want to.
I mean, I think this,
I just
the
wanted
beginning
to-
of this chapter was.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Knox.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna
no,
be
I
got
was
it,
just
got
gonna
it,
say,
you got
I
it.
think the beginning of this chapter with the dialogue from Darkness,
the Doll Devil.
Santa Claus,
Darkness, Santa Claus,
Master,
Master.
whatever the fuck.
Yeah, we'll say Master.
I think it was really well done because like
yeah.
Giving us the
you want to
exposition
feel
of the-
you're like
of the-
yeah we beat the enemy, but
Yeah.
like she's saying some real shit, and I think it gives you this, like Noxie was saying, this feeling of like I think you are supposed to be a little worried. You know, it's like
Yeah.
a kind of
Supposed to be
not
very
really
worried.
melancholy. I'm having trouble coming up with a word to describe it, but
Eerie,
I think-
or like foreboding.
Foreboding.
or-
foreboding.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a very foreboding dialogue that like really makes you worried about Denji as a character and the future of the story. You know?
Well,
No,
until
definitely.
the
I think
until
that
the
was really
end,
well done.
right? Because
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say that when the dialogue is happening, you do feel that. And
Yeah,
I think
you're like, shit.
my favorite panel in this discussion is at least on the Manga Plus at page 3, and it's like every single day, be it your family, your friends, complete strangers,
Yeah.
like and Denji's face here actually is quite serious. I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah, he is.
even
You're
though
right.
he's kind of like he's an idiot and he doesn't really care or whatever.
Yeah,
At least in that panel, he does seem
Yeah.
to be considering Master's words, and it's
Yeah.
like
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
Very,
agree
very-
with you 100%.
this is
Good
this
panel.
is this is like one of my favorite Denji moments in the entire
Yeah.
series because like I don't like he just like seems like such a way more badass like in dialogue than he ever has before. You know, she's
Right.
like, this shit is never gonna stop chasing you, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, make it interesting then. You know what I mean? He's like, don't skimp
don't
on
hit
it.
me on my day off at least.
Yeah.
Whatever
Some
is else
days
is fine, I
for
don't care.
resting, but otherwise, bring that shit on, bitch.
Right.
Like,
It's like,
the fuck
yeah,
you
of course.
mean? Yeah.
He's like, of course I don't understand it. Why don't you dumb it down for an immortal like me? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like it's a backhanded thing. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
I'm not stupid enough, or I'm not smart enough to understand what you're saying, but also I don't need to give a shit because I'm an immortal. So do something, bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
do it.
Right.
Like,
What's up?
It's
Right.
Well, yeah,
backhanded.
he-
like,
he is, but also you like
yeah, his
is he
family,
really
like
fully
you said, but he
considering
doesn't
the
really have
implications
family.
of what
Yeah,
she's
and
really
he's
saying.
already
Right.
he's
He
already
doesn't have
he's
those things.
already prepared himself for this kind of life anyway. After becoming the Chainsaw Man and devoting himself to Makima and this faction
Right.
of devil hunters. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? This is
I don't
already
know if
what
he
this
really
is.
has.
No, this is already what like we've gotten his like dialogue on this early in the series where he was like, I don't give a fuck as long as I can eat food every day. You know what I mean? And as
Right.
long as I got a cot, you know what I'm saying? Like throw whatever you want at me as long as I get to look at
Well, yeah,
titties and eat, and eat ramen every day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
We also get this like mental anguish and like emotional turmoil from him.
Yes.
So it's
And
like
let me
is he
give you a
really
couple other
fully
panels.
come to term with
Yeah.
the implications of this life he's gonna live?
yeah.
Right.
And even this, what she's saying, I'm gonna hunt your friends, family, anyone you come to even meet on the fucking street.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
They could
definitely-
kill you. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Even more panels here. Page 1, when he's dripping the blood of that doll onto him, he's looking really serious. Page
Yeah.
2,
Yeah, he is.
top panel with him,
Yeah,
he has that
yeah,
same
yeah.
expression. I do really think that as badass as his dialogue is, I think he is actually very strongly affected by this conversation, and he actually
I
is
agree
like
with you.
he's trying to bring out that carefree idiot
Yeah.
side of him
It's machismo.
when
Yeah.
half of him is like shit, like
Yeah, that's
things are
kinda
getting
serious.
things are getting really real here.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? But I think he's trying to bring out the
fake it
idiot.
to make it, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fake
fake it to make it. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
That's how it is. So, okay. I mean,
True, and that truce is over page when it's like
Yeah.
this is over. This conversation is over. Truce is
Yeah,
over.
yes.
Hands off your body. It's like
Yes.
wow. I came out of nowhere.
I was like, holy shit. So Quan Chi like cured her people some kind of way?
Well,
Those
we saw that the
two-
zombie the zombie chick was getting held hostage. She wasn't a doll, and we really didn't.
She only has 3.
It was the other 2 that were holding the zombie
the other
chick.
2
We
died.
didn't know what happened to this Halloween one.
No.
To
Halloween.
Cosmo.
Halloween wasn't in the house. Was out doing gallivanting on her own.
Oh yeah, because I
the
think
fuck she
Kishibe
wanted.
said that we got them. We got your other ones.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Well, and Chuan
She was in the alley.
Yeah.
Chuan Chi, like, this is your punishment for going sightseeing in Tokyo without us.
Without
she
us,
just was not in the building and ran and did her own shit, and that's why she was never there the whole time.
Right.
And you know, hey, it's the misdirection of fucking Fujimoto making us believe that Cosmo was mindless for all this fucking time. And she's the fucking smartest being that we've seen thus far, basically.
Yeah. Amazing work.
And that, did she know all of this shit was going to happen? So she went gallivanting around Tokyo to avoid and to come in and use her shit when she needed to?
Let's
know, like, I mean,
and then obviously she expands her territory.
Okay, before we do that, can we just take a moment to appreciate the reference here? Oh my God, so lovely, so lovely.
I'm glad you thought that was what it was too.
Give her a taste of it all out with the Kamehameha wave.
It's definitely what it was.
Yes. I mean, obviously, but I just loved it.
But yeah, when Cosmo came out with the dialogue, bro, I was like,
I was, woo.
Wow.
The art inside of her like domain here, inside of her unlimited void,
all these books and shit,
immeasurable void.
Immeasurable void.
Yeah, this shit is beautiful. This one panel where it's literally just her floating amidst all the books. How long did this take to draw? You know what I'm saying?
Probably a long time.
How fucking tedious and was this? Because holy shit, bro.
Man,
that kind of stuff is where the author shines, though.
Yeah.
Fun holidays.
I'll say it
for
time and again.
books.
It's actually interesting. Like I was thinking when you said that, like, oh, I mean, isn't it just digital or whatever? But you can look at the books and they're all drawn subtly differently. This is actually a drawn panel, and I'm pretty impressed by that. That's pretty sick. I'm sure that took at least a couple hours to draw. I mean, I don't know, like it take me forever to draw.
I mean,
and this is a double page spread.
I didn't even think about the other page.
Yeah, this is a double page spread, bro. Like
I can't really call it a landscape, but like shots of environments and objects like that. That's where Fujimoto shines in his art, and I'll say that
in
time.
The quality
and fire,
and fire for sure. Yeah. As you can see by this master burning to death.
Like the shading on these 2 main books, like the way those are drawn.
Oh my God, beautiful,
incredible.
Beautiful. And the dialogue,
like, I want to read these books.
So the dialogue that we get here with this master and Cosmo telling her about like what's going to happen to her, and she's like, I mean, okay, so what, you're gonna attack me? And this is basically a page out of like Ultron, comics inside of like Marvel comics. At least it reminded me of Ultron, because like Ultron is linked to the internet, and he has all of these like robots that are linked with him. So even if you destroy his main body, he'll just put his consciousness in one of his other robots. You know what I mean? And that's very similar to the dialogue that she's having here. She's like, okay, so you've got my main body trapped in this Halloween shit. What are you gonna do when I just jump to a different doll? You know what I mean? And she's like, no, buddy. This is going to spread. This is going to follow your consciousness wherever it goes. You know what I mean? Like, you are in Halloween for the rest of time
until the day you die. Until you die.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Halloween until you die.
Yeah. God damn.
So
bro.
It's amazing though that Cosmos, the space fiend, see, because that's what it was. The first fan translation I saw called it a space fiend. And whatever, Cosmos fiend, whatever you want to call it. It's, semantics at that point. But for her to have the ability like of omniscience, it's like, what did the space devil have? Because like, you remember me talking about how a fiend is a devil that relinquished its power to take over a corpse. Like if that holds true, like what the fuck did the space devil's ability be? Like what was the Cosmos?
You're saying
Surfer,
the fiend. But so Kiko,
you're time and space. And
you're saying that the fiend has this ability, what can the devil do? Because obviously the devil can do more.
Yeah,
the
devil is stronger than the fiend.
It used to be a devil.
Yeah.
You know,
Right,
all
right,
fiends used
right.
to be a devil.
Yeah.
So like,
Right.
what was the ability? Yeah, like what? Because fiends have definitely given up some of their power to become a fiend.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's what I've been speculating on for a while. Is that I feel like that they're just trying to get out of a bad, contract.
Right.
And so they relinquish.
But this
their
seems to
power
be a
and
pretty
change.
good ability for someone who got out of a bad contract.
Yeah,
Exactly
yeah,
right.
yeah,
So like,
yeah.
exactly. So like, how is this ability? And maybe there's just maybe a lot of conditions or something that we're kind of maybe off scene
missing.
here. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say, but it's like this ability is so strong. Like, how do you imagine
The stronger version of this.
The stronger version.
And how is that not the strongest devil that has ever existed?
Exactly.
Well, I was just gonna say, I was gonna pose an interesting question. Could the cosmos, the fear of the cosmos, space, the great beyond, could that be a carnal fear?
Yeah,
I believe
Oh
so.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Most
So,
definitely.
and I'll have more on this later.
This is
Yes.
existential fear. Is
Yeah.
basically what this devil is the fear of.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
like chilling on your porch or whatever, and you're like,
What's out there?
I'm just like fucking worried. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
worry. That's this worry. I feel
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
worry of
Yeah.
who knows what. You know what I mean?
The-
Which
the-
which seems to me
The fucking,
which seems to me
This second, I could get vaporized.
Yeah, and
Right.
it probably like one thing that comes to my mind is Carl Sagan, Pale Blue Dot.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like when you read Pale Blue Dot, like you're like, we don't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Right,
or when
right.
you watch the documentary Cosmos. I mean, that was the first first big universe, like documentary, that I had ever seen, you know what I mean? And like after watching that, I was like, I was scared, a little bit, like after like actually trying to comprehend like what life really means, knowing that there's infinitely,
Or when you watch
billions
those,
and trillions of more space out there. Yeah.
Right. When you watch those like videos of like, here's a picnic scene, and it's the blanket is a meter by a meter,
Yeah.
and like let's zoom out. The
Yeah.
park is 100 meters by 100 meters. Let's zoom out. The Earth is 100,000 meters,
Yeah.
and it's like zoom out,
Yeah,
zoom out,
yeah.
and you're like, oh stop, it's too much. Like there are suns in the universe bigger than our whole galaxy. You know what I mean, or whatever. It's like what the fuck?
That's so crazy to think about.
There's giant roaming black holes that could literally just swipe across our fucking not even across. They could be
Near,
fucking
like,
light years away,
billions of
and just
light
suck
years
us the
away
fuck
and
in,
still
and
get us.
it's over.
Right.
Black holes that travel around the universe. They're
Yeah.
not even
That's a
fucking
pretty
in a
scary
fixed
thing.
location.
Yeah.
Right, but
crazy.
at the same time, and while I do agree that it is a carnal fear, at the same time, I guess I don't think that the vast majority of people are afraid of that day to day, right? Like
Yeah, I agree with you.
you're much more afraid of, I guess right now, say pandemics and coronavirus
immediate
than you are about
threats. Yeah, immediate,
a black hole,
So-
which it could happen. Black hole just swipes over the Milky Way galaxy and we're all gone or whatever. You know what I mean?
So wait, is carnal
me,
the word? Is carnal the word that we?
Yeah,
use? 'Cause
carnal, primal. They've been kind of.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
Carnal, I believe.
I'm looking it up
deep
right
down,
now.
deep fear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I
Fears
never really
that-
looked it up before, but carnal, I guess, is like
So-
related to like sexual desire.
Yeah.
Oh.
Flesh.
So which is
flesh,
like
yeah.
primal,
Yeah.
which is like
Yeah,
primal,
yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
What the fuck? I mean, it's
Yeah,
that
meant to
makes-
be
yeah.
meant to be implied as fears that
Yeah.
you don't even have like. Okay, so
You can't control them. They're
Yeah,
instinctual.
Instinct-
fear.
primal,
you
but I
fear
feel like
these things.
but I feel
Without,
like
exactly.
I feel like primal's the better word because that's
Yeah.
just like it's like
Primal,
fundamental.
instinctive fears.
Fundamental is
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, fundamental fears. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you guys ready for me to go crazy? Or
yeah.
what?
Go crazy.
Yes,
go
yes,
crazy.
please.
Go crazy.
Get in
Please,
your
please,
fucking
please.
bag, bro.
Strap it in.
Grab the bag.
So, man, before I do this, actually, we got to
about to
shout
talk
out
about
Yato Gami. No,
gotta shout out
Yeah, well, yeah.
Huh?
Yato Gami. Did you see? I mean, okay. So, did you see what he put in our Discord?
No.
No.
What did he say?
Okay, so that Makima saying a corpse is talking is
Yeah.
exactly what was said by I want to say it's the Chain Chompette in Chinese. We didn't get the translation for it. We just saw the Chinese because Makima is always listening and said the same words back to them that they said when they killed all their devil hunters. Boom, 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 boom. When Quan Chi came through and cut all their heads off. A corpse is talking. That's exactly what Makima said back to him when she killed him.
Props, son. Props.
Yato.
Yeah, that's Yato Gami
Yato.
threw that in there. Yeah,
Let's
Yato
go.
Gami threw that in there.
Hop in our Discord for some awesome chats, by the way.
Yes, definitely. Our Discord is lit, baby.
Links
our
below.
Discord goes crazy.
Links in the description for you.
Hell yeah.
Link in the motherfucking link tree. Hop in that bitch.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's not me. That was Yatogami. I'm not even ready to go for me yet. Let's go. So Makima uses her ability, right?
Yeah.
And obviously Kishibe and Yoshida blindfold themselves,
Man,
so they don't
how
see
they just walk up,
right?
Just blindfold themselves.
That was another thing that was super eerie about the chapter. But I'm like Kiko.
That's happened before.
Yeah.
Yes, it has. And
that's how you know Makima's coming out.
Yeah. It happened when she was crushing people from Kyoto to Tokyo.
Yeah.
She was crushing people in Tokyo from Kyoto, but she needed sacrifices, prison sacrifices.
But as they said at the time, this is classified. All of you must blindfold yourselves to not reveal anything about what this ability or the contracts are.
That's
so I won't say I have specifics about the contract. I just think it's kind of a high-level overview thing, which really goes well with the theme of this chapter. And so everybody is blindfolding themselves in front of Makima when they're using the ability. So does she have the unknown devil, the fear of the unknown? If you don't know what her ability is and you know that people are getting splattered on the other side of it, like her blindfolding her own comrades, and they have no idea, like that just strengthens, like that's near fear that's radiating off of Kishibe and Yoshida, or the two other, was it Tendo, and I don't remember exactly the ones before, but they're dead now, the ones that had the blindfolds before. I think it's Tendo and whatever.
Yeah.
But so you have the fear of the unknown, fear of nothingness, fear of you have no idea what it could be, and then you have the fear of everything with Cosmos.
Sure.
Like those are the juxtaposition, juxtaposition of those two, themes right there.
Yeah.
And like, I can't, obviously I don't, like I said, I'm not going to have so she swings a sword and you think, okay, does she just swing the sword and cut off their heads? Like, I mean, I don't really think so. I think it's, she is just doing the attack of whatever she has with her. Like, and it also seems, not in this panel, but like kind of looking back, it seems like she has like a reversal ability now that I think about it. Because Darkness Devil points at her, she points back at her, and points back at the Darkness Devil, and the damage is like magnified. Think about back to the train scene, where they jump out and shoot her.
Yeah.
They jump out and shoot her. She has holes in her. She has gunshot wounds in her. But then when you see back, they have bigger wounds, bigger holes in her. So she's reflecting double damage.
How about this? Fear of retribution.
Okay.
For your action.
Hey, wait a minute.
Fear of karma.
Yo.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Yeah, karma, and I was also having another one is fear of perception of yourself.
Yes.
Right. Like you see this fucking terrible being that you are. You have all these huge insecurities and this fucking perception of yourself.
The blindfold. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. You put the blindfold on, you can't be affected, so you have to wear the blindfold if you don't want to get your shit wrecked by this ability.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
and okay, and so in this, when obviously you're on a way higher shit than I am, but when I saw this panel, this scene, I was like, okay, she got a sword and she cut their heads off. What, she got like a contract with some sort of sword devil or whatever. But I think I think you are totally completely correct here, and way cooler than that, because Chuan Shi had a sword.
Yeah.
And she had the intent. She had the intent to use it.
Never had a sword. Like,
she did. Yeah, she just like pulled it out of nowhere or whatever. It's fine.
No, because
now Chuan Shi drops it, saying, "I surrender." Too late. You already had the intent. You already had the intent to use that sword, aka I can use my karma, retribution, perception ability to say, whatever you just wanted to do to me, I'm gonna do to you and everyone that you try to protect in that scene.
Oh my god!
Definitely. And how is Makima healing and regenerating? She had a lot of damage after she came back from hell, and now she's just fine because she's just copying or reversing the darkness ability and using it on herself to heal. Right? Once the darkness happened, after the darkness happens is when she can come back into the fight. We just had full darkness.
Bam!
Get out of here!
What is that? This is so crazy right now.
If you're friends with Fujimoto, you gotta.
Yeah, you gotta let us know. Fujimoto too. Y'all are pen pals, fam. I know it to be true.
Invite him to my house too.
Yeah, like can we all hang out?
I mean, as much as I, man,
that's so.
That guy's a genius. That's the same. At the same time, we could all be wrong about this, man. And he'll come up with something that's just as tight. Like, and like, I'm talking about the symbolism with the books and shit, like written and fucking and illustrated by Cosmos. I just feel like that the Halloween symbolism, like it's got to be deeper than that, but it might not be.
Right.
I think you're really on.
Fujiwara's known for nonsense.
Yeah, exactly
within
right.
This world,
fire punch shit, right?
Right.
I think you're really onto something there. I think within this world,
could be
Halloween
something,
has a huge significance.
It could be something. It could be nothing. Like, and that's kind of a cool thing about this. Like, we can think a lot about some niche shit here.
Well, and it's funny because this is just Noxie the other day, just me and him chilling. He's like, I feel like you're putting Chainsaw Man higher than Jujutsu Kaisen nowadays. What's up with that shit? And I'm like, bro, I'm not going to try to put one or the other above each other.
You know how you feel in your heart of hearts.
You
know how you feel in your heart of hearts.
It's just, you have more to speculate on, to me personally, visually with Chainsaw Man, that you get to have maybe a little bit more fun with it, where Jujutsu Kaisen is so like analytical and you're combing through a lot of fucking data, where it's like Chainsaw Man, you just get to look and let your mind go crazy, right?
I feel like both books.
It's easy to be excited by a book like that.
I feel like both books are equally strong conversationally from week to week, but for on completely different sides of the spectrum,
reasons,
right?
Completely different.
Because in Jujutsu Kaisen, you get all of this exposition, you get all of this, you know, like in-world lore,
they're both
that you can talk about.
Put one up
and then Chainsaw Man is like so much visual storytelling, like you were saying, like there's a lot more left to the imagination. So like
there's speculation.
Yeah, there's just as much conjecture and speculation, or more, conjecture and speculation on the visual storytelling side of things, because you don't know, but like you can talk. Like, these are our longest segments every week. It was One Piece. You know what I mean? When we started the show, but now like these.
And it can be One Piece if we let it get off topic. Topic. Like chapter, for chapter. Right. Chainsaw Man blows it out of the water with how much you can talk about in just one chapter.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's just crazy. And like, think about like where we've come from Chainsaw Man. It's like we got Denji eating dirt, talking about boobs, got turned into a chainsaw, where I'm saying this shit's trash. And now and now we got fucking,
existential crises and fucking retribution devil, karma devil, all of this.
I mean, omniscience as an ability, as only as a fiend,
as a side character. They gave a side character Gojo's ultimate.
Right.
That's so crazy.
Also, okay, let's.
That's so crazy.
So the last page of this chapter, Kishibe saying, "I don't want to see a thing."
Yeah.
On the one hand, a very poetic statement.
Yeah.
On the other, he is against Makima, and maybe if he wasn't blindfolded right now, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm gonna keep this on just a little bit longer until this ability is like really done, because Makima could be trying to out me too. So I'm just gonna leave this on. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna pretend I'm really cool right now.
I'm gonna keep this on until I get back to the crib. Someone, Yoshino, you driving, bro? Take me back to the hotel, bro.
Be on my Stevie for a whole day here.
On my Ray Charles.
I don't know. I think he really cared for Quan Chi, like him. It was
Yeah, they clearly
one
have
of those relationships where they were enemies, but like best buddies at the same time. And he was like, "Man, why didn't you just?"
And this is a very good
the perception thing.
Well, too. and this is a good explanation of back to that scene in the cafe in the department store or whatever, right? Where Kishibe's like, "Yo, let's try and kill Makima."
Yeah.
Like you and me, and she's like, "No." And you wonder why? Like, is she allied with Makima? Why not? Because she's fucking terrified, and she's not gonna do that. You know what I mean? She would lose, and she knows she's gonna lose, and that's crazy.
As soon as Makima pulled up, she's like, "Never mind. Whoops, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry.
Just kidding, bro.
JK, I'll lick your boots. I promise."
Yeah. Cut off my arms and legs. It's all good.
But what you say about No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that like what Nick's talking about Kishibe here, goes with that, fear of perception, fear of the unknown or whatever, because I mean, even though those are kind of two different things, but fear of perception or fear of like, so
I think it's something in the line of retribution, karma, perception being what others perceive of you and of your intent and stuff, and then the unknown of like who knows what the other is doing.
Right.
These are all subtly aligned. But I do think personally, I think it's more of the karma perception.
So and I'm sorry,
type than the unknown.
A couple things that I just wanted to throw in here real quick, just while they're in mind, and then I'll let you go, Eagle. So one thing, when Makima cuts off Quan Chi, Cosmo, and the zombie chick's head. Like, did she actually like slash a sword? Because one, we don't get a panel of her moving. Two, her arms are Quan Chi's arms are up, and it clearly looks like it's like all one attack, like all one slash. But her
it's
arms,
one reversal. It's one reversal.
Exactly.
To all three.
Reversal attack.
Right.
And the reason it hit all three is because Quan Chi. In my opinion, the reason it hit all three is because Quan Chi is saying, I will kill you with this sword to defend me and these two.
Yeah.
Makima reverses that. The reversal of that is all three of you die from a sword wound.
Yeah, your heads are your decapitation is just what happens to you without a physical movement.
It's like a reversal.
Yeah. And the reversal makes a lot of sense
intent-based reversal.
Because perception of yourself, like you look into a mirror, right? Like you're looking into a mirror, and like these are all your biggest, like, you know, self-conscious things that you think about yourself. You know, like the fear of you. Everybody hates you secretly, right? Because even though you got friends or what, you know, just whatever, your worst perceptions of yourself, you know, is like looking into a mirror and reflecting on that. You know, like that is then she just holds the sword, but the attack happens. She don't actually swing the sword.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking there. And then you were talking about Cosmo. Did she like perceive things that you were talking about omniscience and maybe like the omniscience is just the attack, like she like gives you like omniscience that you're like ready for, kind of like going back to Marvel Comics again, universal awareness is like an ability that like Silver Surfer has. Other, you know, cosmic level characters have, where they just like know everything that's going on in the universe at any time. But you can use that on someone, you can endow that to someone, and it's basically like a Full Metal Alchemist, like information overload, or like an immeasurable void. It
just makes information overload.
Blows the circuit.
Yeah, exactly. They're not used to it. You have to like slowly give that ability to someone over time. You can't just like.
It's
you
like
can't just give it to a normal person, otherwise their fucking brain's gonna be fried. So maybe that's
even on a smaller level than that.
Yeah.
If you tell somebody with amnesia all about their life and shit, it could like seriously make them freak out and lose their mind because.
It's so scary to hear all that stuff.
Bit by bit.
Yeah. So maybe the omniscience is just like in the attack. In the Halloween attack there, but you were also talking about like how maybe she knew that everyone was going to go to hell, and that's why she went off and like gallivanted, you know, around in Tokyo or whatever. But if that was the case, then she should have definitely been able to see this outcome with Makima, right?
Right,
unless Makima reverses omniscience somehow.
Christ. But also for the record, a very common theme in manga generally is like, say for characters with time travel or characters with time stop or speed. Just because you can see an ability and know that it's coming doesn't mean you can avoid it 100% of the time. So it's possible that Halloween in this case, like, or Cosmo or whatever, like saw it coming and just didn't see any way out of it. Might as well let it happen, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cosmic
like whether
awareness,
she's there or not.
Cosmic awareness. Sorry, I said universal awareness. It's cosmic awareness.
What Nickums is saying here is that, you know, Cosmo could say, okay, whether I'm in this spot particularly or not, maybe Makima's ability will cut my head off remotely down the block. Like it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Because Quan Chi's intent was to defend herself and her friends. Maybe all of her friends died just then.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
she might only have a few friends, and only those three died. But it's possible that other people out of frame died.
If Makima is like reciprocating the intent, or reflecting the intent back, wouldn't Cosmo just be able to be like, "Yo, let's like just like leave for now and like not go to attack Nenji because Makima's gonna kill us if we do," and then they could just bounce and not be a victim of the ability at all.
But all she can say maybe is Halloween though in her flesh body.
Oh. Yeah,
it might be difficult for her to convey that kind of information in the non, domain expansion space or whatever. Whatever you want to call it, I don't know. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe it is something like, you know, she's omniscient, and maybe it is something like you guys were saying, and it's her devotion to Xuanxi, where she's like, okay, at the end of the day, Makima's going to show up. There's nothing we can do to win at the end of this conflict. So what I can do to, you know, help them at least beat this darkness chick is not be there and come at the right time and then die with Quan-Chi because there's no way out of it at the end of the day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
devotion to her.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So I just have one more question for everybody here. I don't know, there's no real answer. It's just good something to speculate on. But like, what's this mean for Yoshida? Like, Yoshida was a freelance devil hunter. Now he seems real in deep now and he actually seemed like he was already well fucking informed about all this shit well beforehand, even though he's what we've been talking about, how these civil servant, I don't know, whatever the fuck, civil servant devil
public
hunters,
sector
devil hunters you want to call them. You get a lot of dialogue early in the series with, like, I don't know, maybe it's Himeno or whatever, where he's talking about like a lot of fucking devil hunters go to the private sector and deal with like little shitty devils, which real safe, good money. They ain't gotta fucking, take crazy contracts with devils that make them only have 5 years left to live, that kind of shit, in order to beat them. And Yoshida's, contract with the octopus doesn't seem like crazy strong. It doesn't seem like he's giving up much to use it, but he definitely has really fucking high physical ability, since he was able to fucking 1v1 the fucking Quan-Chi for some period of time twice, even though it got worked the first time he came back, had a little bit more of a rebuttal the second time. And so it's like, man, Yoshida is fucking up. Like, he shouldn't even have been here. Like, I'm just like, man, I'm scared for him. Like, it seems like he's getting wrapped in with Makima, or maybe he already was, or whatever it is. There's more to this character. It feels like there's more to this character. At least there's more to come in the story. I just maybe he disappears after this arc but comes back later. Or maybe he's just
he's definitely one of the more powerful characters we've seen. In the range of power, like, he's definitely way more powerful than the average character. He's definitely way more mysterious and cool, has his own design. He's not, even though he is with public sector, whatever, whatever, public sector 6 or whatever, private sector, whatever, even though he's with this team, everyone else is wearing a suit. He's not wearing a suit.
He's got the fucking leather Michael Jackson Thriller jacket.
Right. So like there are many hints. There are many hints that he is actually kind of a more independent character, and that he will be a larger character in the future. I totally agree with you.
I very interested to see how that plays out. But there's just no way in hell he's not involved in the story. If not heavily, like he could be a big character going forward, or he could just he's fucked up, gotten the wrong shit, gets wrecked in the next, because Chainsaw Man, people die all the time. So
sure.
Super high stakes.
Super high stakes, definitely. So,
I think that's about all I had for Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, with that, then we can go ahead and move right into chapter 178 of The Promised Neverland, to the human world.
Second to last chapter.
Let's go.
I would say
very possible.
Like, it's 5 max till the end.
5 max.
I can't see 5.
That's a high estimate. That's a
high estimate. Yeah.
If they really want to do like way too much,
let's just do it. Let's just do over and under 2. Let's do over and under 2.
2 chapters.
What is over under? What does that mean?
I think it's 2 chapters max.
Do you think it's over 2 chapters or under? Or do you think it's 2 chapters or over 2 chapters?
I would say the only thing we need at this point is something to.
So like, it's over under 2.5. Sorry for betters. Over under 2.5. Is it 2
something
chapters
to integrate
or 3 under that
into this?
I'd say
society.
under. If I was a betting man, under. Though I will say that there are things in this chapter that and that have been hinted in the past 5 chapters that could hint to another arc, another entire arc. Now, do I think it should happen? Do I think it could happen? Do I want it to happen? No, I don't want more. But could there be? I don't know about.
They landed.
Look, man.
On Ellis Island.
Yeah.
American citizenship arc.
Bro.
Why?
They passed the citizenship test like in like 2 seconds. Like, I mean, obviously, like.
Look, bro. Okay.
I mean,
so
do they? Can we?
That's the only thing I think we need at this point.
The only thing I can
something
see
to
is like
them.
Kaiju Shirai like putting a twist in here of some kind that, like Emma says, there's no conditions, no fake, bro. Like, we get to go, scot-free to the human world, which was so fucking anticlimactic, by the way.
That was something that really put a bad taste in my mouth, because like
You guys have suffered enough.
As campy as the series has gotten, that's something that I was always really looking forward to.
That is maximum camp. That is the campiest you can get.
Yeah.
That was something that was really foreboding back in the day, and you're like, okay, like, what is this reward gonna be like? He's like, yo, Emma, yoink, you ain't going, or like, and then
I have to eat you,
say like,
Ray, and Norman, and then the rest of your people can go.
Right, right.
That's what I thought it was.
But to have him say like, oh, I don't need a reward this time.
I'm Gucci.
That's just like,
so let's
worst shit ever.
So in that vein, would you say we all are in agreement that if that is the case, that there is no reward required? That is fucking trash, right? That's super trash, right? Right? Is that so unreasonable to say? Because I think that's very nonsense.
I think there is an argument to be made that there's something meaningful in him saying it, being that he is the one that facilitated and made come to pass the last 1,000 years. He didn't really care then, so it's kind of like, but he's like, okay, I caused this.
The reason why
you guys have entertained me enough, so the last 1,000 years can be.
I mean, he wrote it the best way possible, but it's still.
But I don't.
Kayushiro,
the writer.
I wish it was something.
How is this the best possible?
No. For what he decided to do, and which is terrible. It's trash, undeniably trash. But he wrote it like the best. I'm not
following.
He wrote it like so
in a meaningful way.
Yeah, like knowing.
He took a shit on your doorstep, but he did it beautifully.
Yeah, he did exactly.
Like,
he did it gracefully.
What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying.
He put a bow on the shit.
Yeah, he put a bow on the shit. What are you talking about?
The way that the dialogue that we have from the demon here, like the way that like he tries to finesse the reasoning why there's no reward, was written in a way where I'm not happy about it. I'm not content with it.
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm not saying that there's anything good about this, but the way that it was executed is as good as it could have possibly been.
Yes,
any other way that this was worded by this demon,
would have been even worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
This demon said it the best way possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys were a fucking angry mob with pitchforks surrounding me. Like, the fuck are you talking about?
He's like, I'm the one that facilitated and caused your last 1,000 years of misery, just purely for my entertainment and appetite. So I got y'all.
Yeah,
but
the reasoning
is something in the series that was always supposed to be a really heavy consequence and something that was really foreboding that we expected to be
that's the key.
Heavy.
Yeah.
So
that's the key.
And I hope personally that we're wrong, or rather that the chapter is a kind of a trick, a fake, and that there is some powerful trade that was made with this promise, a powerful reward that will be given to
Emma's lying about.
Yeah, that Emma's lying. I think that'd be very awesome. Though, based on the last 10 chapters, or 5, or I feel like this is dragged on forever or whatever, but it's been campy chapter, campy chapter, campy chapter, campy chapter, campy chapter, campy chapter, which is the campiest chapter ever.
Yeah.
Like, and nothing wrong with camp,
little bit less camp in the last chapter with Isabella dying, but that was still really cheesy and like poorly executed in my opinion.
Right.
Agreed.
What if we get a scene where they wake up and they're like, "Oh shit, he took all our dicks," and he's back there like,
"Yo, where's my dick at?"
He's back there like.
Only half the population is being punished in that thing.
Yeah. Let me just turn this conversation into let me ask a serious question about this chapter.
Yeah. So please do. Yes, thank you.
So why? So here's a question: why does Phil even know about the concept of the reward?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Because he's not been on the squad. He's been at Gracefield House this entire time. Why does he know about this? And also, why is Phil such a highlight in this chapter? He is in a lot of panels and he has a lot of dialogue, and he is at the end of the chapter when they're in New York or whatever. They're on the beach and you see the Statue of Liberty. Tell me.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Phil is the god.
No, he's not, bro.
I mean, I got a much more sensible explanation. I forgot that fucking Phil was supposed to be some kind of plot point, and we need to work him in as much as we can.
I can't believe it. I actually do refuse to believe that this is a mistake.
Sure, and
I am not going to say I'm not going to believe that.
Wrong. I feel like if I was a betting man,
you could be right.
If I was a betting man, probability says you're wrong.
Yeah,
but you're also stepping on a limb, which is great, and that's what we should do in the show. Because I mean, you should, hey, like I did with the Shigaraki theory, which even with this chapter feels less, but I mean, we'll get to that when we do.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's like, hey, that's not a unreasonable fucking, conclusion to come to, but
that was a mistake.
Probability on the line. If I got a bet, I'm saying Kairi Shirai for just fucking forgot that Phil was supposed to be some kind of plot point. We got to work him in just so we touch all fucking, bases on the way home.
Let me
out and go home.
Let me give you an alternative theory.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a reward, and do we know the name of this character? This god or this
it's just that weird squiggly.
No, I got it for you. It's
well, we'll go with that. So when was saying that what I want is your family, okay? What I want is your family. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah.
In
terms of metaphor, in terms of like poetic
biological
language.
Family. People.
No.
Clearly, I know. I'm just joking.
I'm saying in terms of metaphor, in terms of poetic language, what does this mean? It means he wants to experience what it is to be in your family. Okay, so then we have Phil, who is clearly very highly important in these chapters. Okay, what if Emma agreed?
Considers Phil family.
No. What if Emma agreed to let inhabit Phil's body, and that is literally in America.
Then we have fucking 500 more chapters. What?
And that's what I was saying. That yes, I do think that there are going to be max 2 more chapters. But what if there's actually a whole other arc or multiple arcs where this has entered the human world with the permission of Emma?
Wait a minute.
That's a lovely. That's some M. Night Shyamalan type twist right now.
yeah.
Which is
that's not a good thing, right? Like that's.
Well, I mean, look, man. Like we've been saying, amidst all of this like cynicism for the series,
it's not a good thing. Sorry.
Yeah, we've been saying amidst all of our like cynical, review for this series once it started to go downhill in our opinions, that like we're waiting for Kaiju Shirai to like flip our perception of where the story is going on its head,
right?
Because it doesn't seem like this is like from the story that we've gotten
the quality,
so far. The
quality of the writing has been like, say, A level or B level this entire time, and this last arc has dropped to C max, or D level, and we're just like, clearly this has to be some sort of trade, right? It's a huge setup. It's a setup to blow your fucking mind into S tier.
That would be so crazy.
But you can't. It's hard to connect the dots, and I'm trying my best. I'm really trying here to be like,
maybe there's more to it than what we're around. What if Kaiju Shirai turns this around?
I will be like, you fucking earned it, dude.
Yeah, you did
it.
Hey, do we have to like eat our socks on fucking podcast on the stream or something? Like,
I'm not gonna do that.
No. I mean, maybe me, because I feel like I've been the worst. But but like,
oh no,
if that's true, like this, I mean, there's so much like that could, like, that's a huge fucking plot twist, and you could have multiple plot points from that could go crazy. Like, that could turn this into such a longer fucking manga, which is, it's just so improbable.
We have no news. We have no news from Japan.
It's like me betting on the Vikings to win the Super Bowl, right? Like,
usually when usually when a series is wrapping up, we get some kind of like news of that. You know what I mean? That says like the Promised Neverland will conclude in issue number whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes they save that for like the final chapter. So like we could could get news between like today and next week that says Promised Neverland is done this chapter. But like the fact that, I don't know, I feel like anything could happen.
So for the record,
you're right.
If
you guys are both
if I were writing this story, And what I mean by that is, if I were writing a story that is based heavily on like mystery and suspense and twists and turns, I would not want my editors and my magazine to say when it was going to end.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that seems like it would spoil part of the fun.
Yeah.
That you don't know when it's going to end.
Yeah.
So I would like to believe that we will never get that announcement for a manga like Promised Neverland. It's not like, One Piece. We will get an announcement that One Piece is going to end on this date. And it's to let you it's to let you prepare your Kleenex so you can cry as much as you need to, and to get your booze ready to drink some rum and play Bink Sake when you're drinking your shit and read One Piece. But
I'll even drink nasty sake.
There's some good sake out there, bro.
We won't get that for Promised Neverland, I would think. That's my
that makes sense.
Guess, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and that makes sense for a series that you're still engaged with, but like if you got editorial mandate, you got your editor sitting here, hitting the watch like
let's wrap this up.
Right.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, next week we out of here. We're tired of this shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Which it's improbable. Again, I'm just gonna use probability as what I'm leaning on here is like, it's just improbable that you would intentionally write your story bad for an arc to fucking flip us that hard.
Right.
Which
it depends on the flip. It depends on the flip, right?
Exactly exactly right. I mean, I think so, that if you really got flipped that hard, and it really did, you have to reevaluate your whole outlook on that previous arc that you said was
exactly
trash.
Because now it's leading to this.
Yeah, I would do that because I'm a sane human being.
I agree with you to a degree, but let me give you a counter argument for why we've probably passed that point now.
I'm going to agree with this one right now. Yeah,
you would never do that for more than one volume.
Yeah.
What you would do is you would have a volume where, say, of the 10 chapters of the volume.
Yeah. Yep.
9 would be trash, and the 10th would be a huge upset reveal. To get you to buy the 11th, to get you to buy the next volume.
Like the Demon Slayer anime, right? Where you're like, all right, this is cool, but I'm not like super invested. And then that last episode comes out, whoa, holy shit,
wait a minute.
This might be tight as fuck.
So basically, what I'm saying is that if anyone was curious, they could actually go back and look at the chapter list, and see how far back has it been really campy, how far back has it been trash. And I don't think it's actually been that many chapters, maybe 10 or 15.
More than a volume.
But if it has been more than one volume, that tells me personally that this is not a trick. It's not some big reveal. It's just trash,
1,000.
Right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Because why would you want to possibly lose readers?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You can't risk those sales to have a multiple volume trash reveal arc or whatever, where it's like, like, hey, none of you bought the last 3 arcs, but this next one's fucking fire, and you're gonna feel bad for not buying them. It's like, no, I'm gonna feel fine for not buying them because they were trash.
You made me read.
Like, you can only do that for less than one volume.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm with that. And I knew I was gonna agree with that one.
Going into the art of this chapter though was really cool. With this page spread of the stairs.
The stairs, I had that written down too. I had that written down too.
Them going into the fucking like portal to fucking like go like, and then like even them like standing in the thing getting ready to go. Even them like all standing together like getting ready to go with the god saying ready. Yeah, we're ready. That's a beautiful page.
So here's another question I have about that I don't fully understand. Like I don't think it's a plot hole, I guess, but like y'all can tell me what you think. So if there's this stairs that leads into this island that's floating in water. And I could make some sort of excuse that like the water is some sort of dimensional gateway, and that's how Emma is talking to, and it's some magic involved. But if there's stairs that lead to the human world, why don't they just take the stairs? Like, why do they need the wish at all if they found the stairs? I don't get it.
Like that obviously means that it is some kind of like extra dimensional magic.
I'm just saying, like, why make a big deal? They literally said in this chapter this is the stairs that they use to get materials from the other world.
That's right.
And that's where, say, Ray was like in the first arc, building up these bugs and tracking devices from like phones, like old rotary phones and electronics radios from the other world.
Yeah.
People literally can go to and from the worlds through this staircase. So I'm just confused. I guess if there's anyone who actually fucking cares about Promised Neverland and knows the answer to this question, please put it in the comments on this video, because I am genuinely curious. I think there's something I'm missing here, but I don't get it, and I'm confused. So please help me.
Yeah.
It's just a way to speed up the process.
Well,
but on the other hand, it's just trash, and it's just like, okay, it's magic water, and that's the only way to teleport to New York.
So that means that the Ratri clan like has been in cahoots with the demon like god, and is like, yo, can we go like get some stuff from?
Well, they have. It was their wish.
Sure.
It was the Ratri clan's wish.
So then it was probably a part of the wish.
And
so
the
that
gold
said,
water
like, let
is
us
the
go
same
back
thing
and
that was
forth
going
from the
on in the
human world to get supplies.
Right. So I'm just saying, if anyone knows definitively what the heck is going on, please tell me.
And I don't remember, maybe you guys
know.
can refresh my memory on this. Was Goldie Pond originally a farm that no longer, was in existence, and that's why it has the golden water under it, just like fucking, Gracefield? And presumably
I think it was. I think it
farms?
was originally a farm, and then that farm.
What does the golden water have to do with it?
Because we've seen an underground situation like this at the end of the Goldie Pond arc already.
It's a dimensional portal, right?
The
golden water is basically a dimensional portal.
Well, what was Goldie Pond using it for?
That was like William Minerva's like first like major point of like contact for them. I thought. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
So you're saying that like the Ratri clan could leave Grace Fieldhouse's basement and come up in Goldie Pond basement.
Goldie Pond, yeah, or any of the other.
Or any of them,
premium farms, the premium farms, yeah. What, I forgot the names.
That could be it. That could be it.
There's
Definitely.
any like reason in particular why they couldn't have just gone through these portals if they do exist, which obviously they do, because at least there's this one.
Right.
But maybe you're not allowed to go.
I think it is just to save time. Right. Because he can just grab everybody and teleport them there, whereas if not, they would have to go around, get everybody, corral up these invalid dudes and carry them and get everybody through the path.
We do see in this chapter that people are teleported no matter where they are, because the wish has been executed or initiated. So every single human being in the demon world is teleported into the United States or Earth, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last thing I got to say is that I prefer escalators because they can never be broken. They can only become stairs.
We were just talking about this.
I know, that's why. That's just reminded me. As soon as you started talking about these stairs, I was like, hey, we just had this conversation.
Yeah. Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, I think that's about it, though.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's all I have.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, with that, then, we can go ahead and move on to Chapter 251 of Black Clover, The Cursed Devil.
I'm excited to see how you guys felt about
Unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's the greatest thing to ever happen, but I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad.
It's actually pretty good. I think it's pretty decent. Yeah,
it actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, like, and here, this is perfect. This is perfect transition from what we were just talking about. This is a perfect example of having like 4 trash chapters, but you don't take a whole volume. You only have like 4 trash chapters, and then you flip the script and be like, hey, those 4 chapters, that was build up to this. So this is all everything we've been having the last like 4 battles, where it's been 1 chapter battles that we've been dissatisfied with. You know what I mean? That seemed too quick, or they barely even named that character before they.
Oh well, guess what? It's not over.
Guess what? It's not over.
Yeah,
so this is all contained in 1 volume.
Yeah,
this actually might be the last chapter of the volume, because it's a big, reveal or spoil.
So then what is Vanika's magic? Is it like resurrection magic?
No, curse. It's curse.
Oh wait, curse magic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, is that what it says?
Yeah, curse.
Well,
the curse devil.
Well,
is that what it says?
Her devil ability is curse.
Megicula.
She can just curse you probably in
what's her magic?
In many different types of ways.
Well, what's her innate magic?
I don't think we know what her magic.
I don't know.
Because she's clearly using like physical attacks here.
Yeah.
Against her guy. So like maybe her like actual magic is just like rejuvenation, like reanimation or just like.
Well, I guess where I took
it's
from
hard
it
to
and like
speculate with what we have in this chapter.
What if she's just a hard body fighter? You know what I mean?
Because her magic, strength magic.
Yeah, because her magic isn't, you know, like it's not like malicious, so like it's not like an attack, like she can't like attack, like it's like a buff. You know what I mean? So like maybe her magic is like a, you know, an ally buff, and then she just boxes you. That'd be fucking sick.
Yeah.
And then boxes you with like enhanced like devil, you know, like mana or whatever.
When I was reading this chapter and hearing about, you know, the chapter title, right? Like curse, or whatever, devil or whatever. When I was hearing this, I thought to Dorohedoro. I don't know if any of y'all have read it or whatever. But like,
I started reading Dorohedoro.
If you just 10-second spoiler for Dorohedoro, just cover your ears if you don't want to hear about it for 10 seconds. There's a magic user in Dorohedoro that has curse magic, and the curse is after death, the magic, you know, comes back. It's like a postmortem nen. So spoiler over. Yeah. It wasn't a huge spoiler or anything, but like, so that's where I got it from. But like, so in my opinion, curse in this sense means postmortem nen. It means you kill them, the curse comes back, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
makes sense.
And so I guess it could be the devil ability is what's doing this. I do not think we know what this person's true magic is, or you know, not true. I shouldn't say true magic. Their innate magic ability is.
Right. Oh yeah, and we got to talk about the color cover. That fucking really cool.
We really should.
Yeah, I really like the
color cover.
The fucking Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I thought that was interesting.
Up and down the tree.
Yeah.
I thought that was super interesting because we were talking last week. I mentioned, like, you know, wolf in sheep's clothing, and that is not a Red Riding Hood reference. You know what I mean? Wolf in sheep's clothing is a Aesop's fable. I think it's actually a misattributed Aesop's fable legend or whatever, but it's a very ancient legend. You know what I mean? Like wolf in sheep's clothing. But here we bring up Little Red Riding Hood, and I'm like, okay, I feel like it's mixing metaphors here. Like, why? What the hell does this have to do with Little Red Riding Hood?
It's just cute because,
and in that sense, I'm totally for it because Charmy's looking very cute in this little page. The eyes, and the wolf is super cool looking.
Charmy should have been the main character, man.
Very similar wolf looking to Aki's wolf.
Cone.
Yeah.
Cone.
Yeah. Cone. Yeah. But I just love a little you know, a little bit of a little rotund, little cute.
Yeah, little rotund chibi, little cutie baby.
Give me a little
the rotund.
Put those fat cheeks on my cheeks real quick.
Or I say, like, put it on my shoulder and walk around. We'll go to the park and swing on swings. Yeah, cute.
And I mean, I'm glad personally that Gaja is a cut above the rest of the spirit.
Yeah.
Very glad about that. Yeah,
we needed that dialogue.
Yeah. Like, that makes me feel good. It's really good to see that Mimosa's like offense is improving, because obviously she's a support type, but we want to see Solar Beam all day, bro.
Absolutely.
Hit that Solar Beam. Fuck that shit. You know, like, and she like one shots Buddy. You know, which you know, even though she's got Lola Pachika, you know, like reinforcing her and probably adding fucking mana to her ability.
Yeah, I think we get direct.
She said that. Okay. She directly said that.
Yeah. She definitely did say that. But like, it's still good to see that she's got something like that in her repertoire, because you know, it's still good that she's a support type as long as she has Yuno and Klaus. Klaus is her original team. Like, they mesh well. Their team is good together. Like, Klaus is kind of like both offense and defense. You know, he's got, you know, steel magic,
steel,
and
metal
then
magic,
fucking steel, metal, and Yuno's like basically all offense. And then fucking, you know, Mimosa's got, you know, healing and sensory, maps, and all that shit. Like, their team, and that's, I feel like that's one of the strengths that Tabata has that I feel like people don't really touch on too much, is like the teamwork within his story is really good, and like the teams make sense, and that they do have abilities that offset each other and work well together. Like,
it might not be the deepest strategic like level of storytelling inside of action. It's not like a Hunter x Hunter. It's not like a Jujutsu Kaisen. But like, it's definitely like the teamwork aspect and like knowing which characters to pair together or to group together. That's a big strength of this storytelling.
I think, and the reason being is that there are fewer 1v1 fights. I mean, there are still a lot of 1v1 fights in Black Clover, but there are also a lot of like 3v1, 2v1, 2v2, 3v3, where it's like kind of like team battles, and the team dynamics in Black Clover top tier, and for this exact thing you're talking about, that's definitely a highlight of Black Clover.
And this is a beautiful page of the plant creation.
Woohoo!
Magic candy flower.
So
solar beam.
Wow.
Shit, man.
Wow, bro.
It looks really good.
She ain't got to take a turn to power up when she got Lolo Pachica behind her. You know?
Yeah, she's Sunny Day. Lolo Pachica's Sunny Day.
Lolo Pachica's Sunny Day. Hey, I'm so glad I got at least somebody. You know.
Come on, bro.
I love me the fuck out of some Pokemon. You
Pokemon
know,
references in
bro,
manga.
Sunny Day killed me. But yeah.
So can I say something before we move on past this panel, because we're at the part where it matters for what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we see Gaja has beaten some random ass guy,
tongue
right?
magic.
No. This is Gaja beats fingernail magic. So every single lower tier mage from the Spade Kingdom has had body type magic: skin, tongue, hair, eyes, fingernails. Pretty interesting. I don't know. Like I don't know what to get from it, but like you see the pattern.
It's something.
Augmentation type magic.
And so here's the only thing that I got from this that may be plot significant. So Dante, right, the big bad from the Spade Kingdom, he has often said, like, this is my ability. Like speaking of other characters, right? Your ability is gonna be mine. Kind of hinting that maybe he can take abilities. What if he is cultivating other people's abilities to make himself into a super being, such that he gets the skin magic, he gets the fingernail magic, he gets the hair magic, he gets the eyeball magic, he gets the tongue magic,
and then he already has bone magic.
And all for one type.
He has bone magic?
Oh no. Dante's
no.
That was
that's Zeno.
I'm thinking of Zeno. My bad.
Okay, but if he is able to take magic, then he could turn himself into this like magic super being where every single aspect of his body is magically enhanced. That would be if we are approaching an end to Black Clover, because now we've hit all the countries, Clover, Spade, Diamond, Heart. The question becomes, where do we go from here? Yes, we could go to other dimensions, say going into the devil.
It has to be another plane. After this.
Unless we never go to another plane and Dante becomes actually the final bad guy. Having a completely magically enhanced body, and of course, we can always have that battle in another plane or whatever. But that's all I was thinking. Like, there's definitely potential here for some bigger usage of why are all these mages body amplification type powers. This doesn't seem like meaningful unless it's going to be used in some way.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. How about? I mean, the Malice panels where Vanica walks in, right?
Right. Like, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Obviously, that's the next page, and this is the first time that I've really felt tension in the series.
Yeah. Me too.
And it's not very intense. It's not like the hero chapter we're going to talk about after this.
I don't know. I mean, just the way her dialogue makes it extremely tense.
Yeah. Well,
she has the making of a really good villain. Stand alone has a making of a good villain. Like just the fact that she is very ominous and to make light of it, to call Lola Pachica sweetie and that kind of shit, bro. Like
she's scarier than Dante and Zeno so far to me.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
She just walks out. She's tap walks out. And you get.
This panel on page 8 in Manga Plus or whatever, where she's saying "yoo-hoo" and she's coming through this hole. The sound effects. Zoo, like there's an energy pervading the entire thing.
It's like Reiatsu. It really feels.
Yeah, dude.
And then you have the where full just is like super ominous, like like this, and even the drawing is like the up and down sketch. The up and down sketch mark, and yes, the white silhouette on black.
It's like Reiatsu. It's really similar.
Signifies there's something literally weighing down on them, like a heavy
pressure. Weight like an end spiritual pressure or something. Like this is a very ominous panel, and I actually completely missed it when I first read it. Y'all said like this I'm like, oh, you're right. There's this fucking ominous shit.
Yeah. This is the first time in the series in a long time. I don't remember the last time I felt.
And contrasting that, contrasting with the bottom panel, contrasting that top panel with the bottom panel, completely crisp. Drawing of this character, saying "sweetie," but behind her, still the
I was gonna say, even before you get there, the 3 panels of each girl, like look at how much detail is within their eyes,
and the sweat on them,
the sweat and the despair you see in their face, like they're worried.
The shading, the straight vertical shading lines.
Yep.
They're like fuck.
Fucking beast at this shit.
I definitely
a beast at this shit.
Yeah.
I definitely think that this person is meant to be like a Pito level.
Yes.
Like
exactly.
this is nothing to ignore. This is a high level enemy.
Especially like you even get like more malicious backgrounds in like the next couple pages where she's saying like, because I figured you'd be more into the fight this way. She's got her she's got like the fucking like maniacal like eye shape, you know what I mean? Like that you see like, in shit, like when a motherfucker's really saying some dastardly
the upside down
moon
shape.
Yeah. And then you have like, look at the background behind her. It's like that misty, you know what I mean? That you see that all the time when shit is like really dire, you know what I mean?
And then look at Lola Pachika after that. It's such a good, that's one of my favorite panels because it has the swirly fucking in the left glasses and then it has the despair in the right glass. That's just really like a Tabata.
It's a good angle.
The attention. Well, and he kept the attention to like Lola Pachika's like character where it's like, okay, she's kind of ditzy and like kind of dumb, so she still has like the swirly eye. But even though in reality, the right eye is what's actually like, projecting how she feels. But you still just like keep that outer, like, the outside, what somebody from the outside might see on her, reflection of her glass. Like I just really liked how that was
very. No, you're 100%.
Yeah.
Love that. And then dude, and I just feel like she's just gonna be like a physical. I feel like it would be really cool for Tabata to give a female character a physical fighting style.
I would love that.
I feel like it would be really cool, because we got Zeno has the bone magic. Obviously, that's very, you know what I'm saying? It's bone magic. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's physical, but it's still magical. But it's still like magical offense. And then you have Dante's obviously gravity, magical offense, whatever,
which he used in a physical way, which was cool, but that's not his primary
fighting style,
way of fighting.
Right. Exactly. So for Vanica to have still a really strong ability, but have it not be a very strong offensive magic, and it be like a rallying, like team buff kind of magic, which is still a big deal. It's still a huge threat. It's still a really like dangerous thing. But then like her primary like 1v1 like square up fighting style is physical. That would really set this evil team off for me.
It'd be sick. It'd be super sick.
Kind of like Bello Betty from One Piece, one of the revolutionaries, the one that like rallies people behind her with the flag. But like,
her hockey, her hockey is up there. Because if your fruit is the rally fruit and all you do is make your people stronger, she's got to be a boxer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, I still think she can use it on herself.
Well, but then what? She still has to hit you. Like she's like
then she just gets a huge, like if she's already strong,
like Nickums was
she
saying
uses it
before.
on herself. Then she's like,
that can be her devil.
Just a physical augmentation.
Her like magic ability. There can be
her devil could be doing
right. So and then there's always
and she still has that back pocket.
She could have an innate offensive magic of some kind.
Yeah.
But I just think it would be tight if she just jawed you. You know what I'm saying? Like she just fucking like beat you up.
And that would not be out of context for the rest of the Spade people. They're all physical augmentation. Like you could say they're all paramecia types. You know what I mean? And so she definitely could have something, physical. Something that just really strikes me is that every single panel with Vanica is incredibly crisp drawing.
It is.
Like she's clearly very important.
That's because Tabata knows his
audience.
Reader base. Yeah, exactly right. And that's all that is. Hey, because I'm telling you, this is one of the simpest chapters ever. Like I ever seen on fucking Twitter in my life. People are wiling on
this
the
is
simp shit. And Hey, you want to know what's so hilarious? It's like now Vanica's best girl over fucking Noelle and Mimosa and all that.
Sure.
Which is great. Hey, I'm not, I'm never gonna like take a side, right? On that. Like y'all, Twitter, y'all can have that argument. That ain't me.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's so funny that we all simp, or Twitter all simp for Vanica, but Vanica only simps for Lolo Pachica. She says, fucking Noelle, Mimosa, you're trash. Get out of my face. I love Lolo Pachica. I'm coming for her ass only. Like, y'all deal with them. I'm simping for Lolo, baby. And I was just I loved it. I was so happy. I was like, that's hilarious. Like,
y'all
and Tabata probably didn't plan that, but regardless, I'm like, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I just love
and we
that.
We get that panel that you highlighted again, where she has one swirly eye and then one despair eye again. We see that twice.
Yeah, twice they did. Yeah, twice. Yeah,
on the opposite side this time.
Yeah,
the opposite side.
Yeah. But everybody's squad at the end, bring it on, fuck it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you think that you would see them be like, fuck, dude, it took everything to beat you the first time.
So excited for Charmy. I don't give a shit about the other two. Charmy, let's see that Charmy shit. I mean, I don't want to say I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like Charmy,
you want to see Charmy the most.
Like, because like Luck, it's gonna be lightning involved, and fucking,
Leo is gonna be lightning and fire involved. Yeah,
like there's more.
You can already imagine the entirety of those battles. You can see them in your mind. Okay, there's gonna be lightning and there's gonna be fire and they're gonna win. Great, but Charmy, you don't know what's gonna happen. So that I totally agree with you. Like that will be a much more interesting fight, and actually we will probably get that fight. I actually hope we don't get a huge fight for all these characters, because we've already established established that it doesn't matter if we kill these characters, the enemies, they're going to revive themselves. So I hope that we either get nothing except for maybe Charmy, because I wouldn't mind a little bit of Charmy, or nothing from any of them, and only focusing on the Vanica fight, because like we've already established the other fights are meaningless, literally meaningless, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have been meaningless. I mean, it's very, very much so seems that way.
But I mean, like, there could still be a situation where what would be tight would be to see like a different, like, kind of like application to like their abilities in a way that we haven't seen. Like, maybe they don't like fight to win, and they fight to contain or capture, and they use their magic.
But they have zero knowledge of what's happening.
Right. But if
these people at Vanica know that they're going to revive. So
but if they keep beating them, if they keep beating them and they keep coming back, maybe. Yeah, I guess you're right. But like, I could just
they should figure something's up.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
that's all I had.
Oh yeah, and then she. One more thing. Noelle goes into the Valkyrie dress. Lolo Pachica goes into her like hot form.
Oh yes,
yes.
She transforms herself, which makes me feel bad for Mimosa that she doesn't have a transformation, because we got 2 out of 3, and Mimosa's just like, all right, I'm ready.
I'm ready for another solar beam.
You ain't do nothing.
Right.
You better get that. I mean, your plant magic transforms, but you don't. You need to put on a plant dress.
Yeah, a little poison ivy style.
Yeah, Venus flytrap dress. Let's go.
Yeah, that's it. I'm good.
That's it for me.
With that, then, we can go ahead and move into chapter 272 of Boku no Hero Academia.
Let's go.
Good morning.
So this chapter, I have a lot that I want to say about this chapter, but the first couple things that I'll say is that, and I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit here, because obviously we have like old girl from we have Burning, I think is her name. From Endeavor's agency, like basically like trying to get the evacuation going, because it's going to turn into a large scale like villain battle in this city. It's definitely not a raid and handle everything without things becoming a big deal. But inside of this chapter, when you have the first inheritor of One For All talking to Deku and building up that tension of like, this is something serious is about to happen, you need to get ready for this, it's very like kind of like poetic in the dialogue here. Freed from the shackles of humanity, his power now swells. I was like, wait, goosebumps right there, right?
Goosebumps.
Yeah, and then like the blowback will soon be here. We don't have long to speak. A transcendent one is coming. And he's holding his gut, and he's like looking back at the fucking, at the raid.
Yeah.
And then it just goes into like 3.5 pages of no dialogue, just reaction and visual storytelling of what's happening. This is how you write tension. Like, you know what I mean? This is how you show tension, like in your story. We knew that Shigaraki was going to be a big deal because obviously he gets zapped, he wakes up. You have that beautiful chapter like last week of like the all for one, you know, like shit that we were talking about and whatnot. But like, this is how you start his rampage with just dialogueless pages of just the scene that's happening and people reacting to Shigaraki waking up. You don't need words here. You know what I mean? Everyone knows that this is serious. You know what I mean? Exless looks over. You just have Shigaraki sit up. That panel right there of Exless looking at Shigaraki just sitting up was amazing. And then he just says, "I'm cold," and you're like, wait. And then you have present Mike. You know, you have all of the heroes like doing what they're doing normally. And then you look at the doctor, and the doctor's face in this panel on this dialogueless page is he's just like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And then and then you have the reaction page, the reaction shots of everyone is just what makes this shit so epic, you know what I mean? And then just no dialogue, Gran Torino, pew pew, grabbing them, leaving, everything destroying. Then you start getting dialogue that's giving you exposition of like what's happening. Oh shit, we didn't realize that he had this new, you know, level to his power. And then everyone's just like, run for your fucking lives, and everything starts crumbling down. Amazingly done. Beautiful. I want to talk about the "I'm cold" remark you just made, right? Yeah.
Because Exitless basically gets incinerated or whatever, melted,
instantly evaporated.
But Shigaraki keeps his cloak and cloaks himself with Exitless's cloak. Y'all notice that shit?
No, I did not.
I didn't. I knew that, but I didn't think like, "I'm cold, give me your cloak." Yeah. Wow.
Where do you see that?
In the page way later where he's like crumbling everything down around him.
It's way later.
He's
but
crumbling
now
everything down around
witness
him, and now he has
a
a
miracle.
cloak.
But now we witness a miracle or something greater.
Wow.
I didn't put that together.
So he can choose, this gets disintegrated and this does not get disintegrated.
Yes.
It is not completely indiscriminate ability.
And obviously you see his ability going crazy right here, and you can take it for like, okay, he got powered up because of, you know, the all for one whole shit he just went through. But this power up doesn't seem to be new. This seems to be like the power up he got from Redestiny. He already did this before he even that's just an important point that I wanted to make, is that
the range may have been increased.
The range may have been increased. So there could be a power up here, but this is nothing. This is a drop in the bucket to what Shigaraki should be able to do at this point, right? You know, like, which is fucking
I think it's very impressive to me.
That's super ridiculous.
Of course it's very impressive, but if he has all the quirks like fucking One for All is
No. Getting all for one does not give him all the quirks. It gets him the ability to get the quirks.
Yeah, that's right.
All for one in prison has the quirks. He only has the ability to get new quirks.
That's right.
He could have, yes.
I think he could have gotten all the quirks, and that's why he was in the test tube getting all the quirks, like surgically, scientifically.
Because they were changing his body in weird ways. I think different one was kind of hitting his body in like weird ways.
I think the tube was enhancing his innate ability. His disintegration ability.
That's what I thought it was too. But at the same time, he's surrounded by a bunch of different quirks. So you could be getting quirks implanted.
Here's the reasons why. The Nomu have been given quirks surgically. So I guess Shigaraki could be given more quirks surgically in the same way a Nomu is. I guess I rescind that.
But we don't have to look at it. We don't have to look at it so black and white as surgically. You know, like you can just say,
scientifically.
We don't have to look at it in any scientific matter whatsoever. This is the Shonen. It's like, hey, I'm all for one. And I just gave you my ability and everything that came with it, right? Which is that I've compiled.
I don't think that's
what happened. I think there's a little bit more.
And I don't think
I think there's a little bit more continuity involved.
Is there firm dialogue saying that he can't do that? And I'm not saying
because there's no firm dialogue saying he can do that.
The only reason One for All is transferable is because it's an amalgamation of two quirks. The brother's original quirk was to pass on his quirk. Which was a meaningless quirk because that's the only quirk he had, was to pass on his quirk via his DNA.
Right.
It combined with the quirk that One for All gave his brother to accumulate strength.
Right.
So the only reason One for All can be transferred is because of the quirk that his brother originally had.
That's right.
The reason All for One had to get the scientist involved is because he cannot give his quirk to somebody else.
Right.
And also, it helps him with his scheme with the Nomus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
no.
Doesn't it?
Because Eggman said, I gave my quirk willingly to All for One.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And All for One gave me back a copy.
Yeah,
that has nothing to do with All for One. That's a separate quirk that he took and then gave a copy to somebody else.
Sorry, and so I guess more what I mean is that Eggman copied genetically his own quirk and gave himself a copy based on his genetic work.
Oh, okay.
And All for One literally gifted the literal All for One to Shigaraki, and Eggman gave him back genetically a copy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like to me, this, I guess I just don't think that I don't even know what I'm arguing against right now, but
I think I would agree with you in that Eggman does have the genetic profile of the true All for One, and he was in the test tube implanting that genetic profile into Shigaraki, and the 75% was signifying that he only got, in my personal opinion, he only got 75% of the quirks that All for One had compiled.
Nah, he just
that'd be
it would be broken. It would be so broken if he got 75% of all the quirks that All for One ever got in his life. All he got this okay, in my opinion, the 75% is how strong can we make Shigaraki's innate ability, his destruction ability.
Yeah.
And so we decided, or you know, maybe I can make it a kilometer range or something, and all I can do is 75% of a kilometer, say. But All for One granted him in the same way that One for All can be granted genetically, like passed on to a successor.
Yeah.
All for One can be passed on to a successor, and it was passed on, and that's like a binary, like yes, no, passed on, not passed on. And Shigaraki has it, and All for One has a clone of his own ability.
So he could
as was said, like last chapter or 2 chapters.
Yeah.
He could get 75% of All for One's ability, which isn't 75% of the quirks he compiled.
What does that mean?
You only have, which means you have 75. No,
it means nothing.
I'm going to tell you what it means.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me.
Wait. He can only compile 75% as many quirks as maybe Shigaraki or as All for One could.
Yeah.
So you think he has a limit?
Maybe it's just a way more.
How do you quantify that one? Because as far as we know, All for One had an unlimited cash.
We don't know any of that. We don't know any of that.
Yeah,
sure, but you're taking we don't know any of that and saying there is a limit.
It's heavily implied.
There is a limit, and you just said there's a limit. You just said there's a limit.
I'm saying maybe.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe,
like we could say maybe here. Like I'm not saying this definitively. I'm just saying this is another avenue that could possibly be explored.
Yeah,
is that I mean, and it makes sense, you know, because like it's so hard. Okay, Shigaraki already leveled up during Redestro's fight, right? And he could already spread his decay to shit he was not touching. It's like, you know, a virus at this point. Yeah, it's a virus at this point. Like it spreads without, you know, him touch. It just, you know, spreads indiscriminately almost at this point. And so,
but what was the range at that time? Do we remember the range?
I mean, what
whole
we saw,
fucking
he already eviscerated an
city.
entire city.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, exactly.
Damn.
So how can we say 75%?
Sure,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
good point.
That makes
no
sense.
Yeah,
that
good
really
point.
makes no sense. Like 75% of what, right?
Yeah,
75%
good point.
of crushing a city. Like it's hard to quantify, you know. But man, I don't know, man. It's so hard to wrap my head around, like, because we
definitely need more.
As long as we're on that point, how do you quantify him only getting 75% of the actual One for All quirk? Like, can he? If that is the case, can he take quirks?
We would
even
need to
then?
know the capacity first in order to.
Can he?
I just don't believe it's.
We don't need to
related
know
to
the capacity firm. We don't have to have a firm number on the capacity to know that he can only have 75% of the capacity.
Yeah, that's true.
And especially because All for One doesn't have a quirk other than stealing quirks. So Shigaraki does, and it has been increased. So for you to have 75% of All for One's quirk, plus you have your own broken ass fucking spread decay quirk, like that's stronger.
like
that's going to make him a terrifying entity.
Right.
Exactly.
Now this is kind of going against like your criticism from last week, right? When you were talking about how like Shigaraki doesn't feel like an all for one, but does he need to feel like an all for one if he has a quirk that's this devastating? You know what I mean? Like you can be the strongest villain, you know, you could be a villain worthy of being a final boss in a series with just a quirk that's this powerful.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like he doesn't need to be an all for one as long as the end game goal is you win. You know what I mean?
You're right. And it's hard because of how emphatic I was about it that I'm not opposed to the opposite. Like I don't think that would be bad writing in any way. I just think that I think Shigaraki is a great character, and that's what needs to be considered first. Is like I think he's a good character. I just don't think he is like charismatic as like a Blackbeard type. Like you know, he doesn't have the. To me, I wouldn't rally around a fucking Shigaraki where I would rally around a Blackbeard. Me personally, you know, like if I'm looking at
different kinds of like villains, and then we talked about that in the villains episode. It's like why are people rallying around you? Are they rallying around you because they're scared of you? Are they rallying around you because they actually believe in your cause, which is like the all for one situation? Are you charismatic? Do you make people want to follow you? And then there's also you are just such an overwhelming
force. Who rallies around Shigaraki for like?
I bet you a lot of people now. Around him? A lot of people now.
Nobody. I also nobody.
I also don't want to rehash. I feel like we just argued about at length like we did, but also nobody follows all for one for his vision, you know, except for Eggman. I guess Eggman has some hint as to what his motivation is, but
it's no hard. That's a 200-year-old being.
No other villain is following all for one for all for one's ambition.
Because that's not his intent. That's not his intent. He's about to work through Shigaraki, which makes sense because like okay, if you have. We'll just say that he does get 75% of the capacity that All for One does to hold quirks, right?
Yeah.
But he also gets the decay quirk. If he were to just totally incorporate Shigaraki's being within himself, right?
Yeah.
Like that's still stronger than what he had before and prolongs his life. Which
but we have examples. We have examples of characters that like have decided to start following Shigaraki because of what he's shown them. You have Dr. Eggman himself. Dr. Eggman himself was like, prove to me that you deserve all for one's quirk, and then he proved that in the My Villain Academia arc. And then you have Redestro, who's on the side of the Paranormal Liberation Front. He said, "Fuck you, we're Paranormal Liberation."
Redestro is one.
And then Shigaraki was like, "Check out what I can do." And then Redestro was like, "I'm following you now." Giganto Machia was like, this motherfucker Shigaraki is not worth following, and then he starts crying like, "Oh my god, yes he is." You know what I mean? We have examples of characters that are starting to rally themselves around Shigaraki. It's funny that
to me though, it's crazy that those are the examples you use. Most recent within the last fucking 100 chapters or less, those are the examples you use, even though he's had people following him the whole entire time.
Right.
Like
but it was meant to show like a ragtag group of people.
Like I said before.
Yeah.
But like I said before, Dobby doesn't really follow fucking Shigaraki's
and
either does Spinner, either does really like Toga's on the fence and Toga does sometimes and sometimes not. Twice, same thing. Twice is like, Shigaraki, are you gonna put me out here like that? You know, like they've all butt heads with him and all of his original, like Mr. Compress, you don't even know where he stands.
Yeah, but I think that was done on purpose to show that this group of villains is not your typical like villain organization where everyone is for the leader. There's contention inside of the ranks. It shows it gives depth.
People have different motivations.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
All of their motivations just so happen to be aligned. But now it's showing development inside of the villainous ranks alongside development of the main cast, which is a really good thing.
Let's liken it to another villain organization that is quite similar in some ways, but not in Phantom Troop.
Yeah, in the Phantom Troop. Yeah,
where Phantom Troop, they all have like their own like motivations, and they all like, but at the end of the day,
they're all
every single one other
they're
than
all for Crollo.
They're all for Crollo. At the end of the day, all of them except for Hisoka are for Crollo and know that he is basically God to them.
Yeah,
and none of Shigaraki's underlings feel that way, except for
that doesn't mean that it can't be good.
And Redestro.
That doesn't mean it can't be good just because it's not like that.
I'm not saying. Yeah, and I'm not saying that it can't be. I'm not saying that it can't be. It's really hard to argue your point emphatically without people taking it as like you think that's law and like there's no other option because like I said 2 weeks ago, I'm like, if Shigaraki breaks All For One out of prison and then kills him on the spot.
Like, so crazy.
I don't exactly
That'd
like
be so
that.
Crazy.
That's great to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Horikoshi still has some making up to do to bridge the gap for me. Yeah. Shigaraki to be like a world controlling type villain. Like he's not. It just doesn't seem like
we just gotta wait to see how he does it.
He's not. He's not capable of that. Like his capability is very low as far as like controlling that level of organization at this point. And
where he has it
seem that way.
Right.
Where he has it, where Shigaraki has it, is I think, and it was explained in the Redestro arc, where Redestro, it isn't. He didn't see the destructive power of Shigaraki and say, "You're so powerful, I'm gonna follow you."
Yeah.
He saw in Shigaraki. He saw in Shigaraki, you are transcending the moral, like, barrier, the moral weight of our society that says you and your quirk are bad.
Yeah.
And because there are people, and this is where I love about the thing I love about My Hero Academia, and the thing that can be developed hugely is the setting, that there are people who have quirks and they look evil. They look like a lizard, they look like a monster, they have horns, they have a quirk that is quote unquote only destructive, like Shigaraki's quirk, only destructive. Now, I think if you go back and read the
lot of ugly
flashback,
heroes. There's a lot of scary looking heroes, ectoplasm and like the dragon. Like there's a lot of scary looking heroes that are questionable. Mirko is trying to kill people, like, so that doesn't really stand true.
No, but what I'm saying is also, if you go back to the Shigaraki flashback chapters, I think it's actually kind of hinted that the reason his quirk manifests as destructive, like in the beginning of the flashback, he's a little kid, he wants to be a hero. He doesn't have a quirk at all. It's not manifested yet. He's too young. But it manifests at a certain specific time as destroying everything. And I think it actually does because his father hates him. Not hates him, but he's very mean. He's a very, very hard-handed father. And so Shigaraki interprets that, and his quirk develops as I hate my father, aka I hate existence, and it destroys things. Now when Redestro when Redestro it becomes enraptured with Shigaraki, what he feels, what he says is, you are transcending the moral laws that are holding back, like, say 20% of the population, 30% of the population that just so happen to have been born with a quirk that is quote unquote bad, and he's like, you are the shining example of not giving a fuck about society's rules, and I'm going to follow you for that reason. It's not because he's powerful.
And I agree with all of that.
Yeah,
it's
that's a really good point,
so
Nick.
hard. Yeah, and it's so hard for me to like hold firm, because it's like I'm not really trying to hold firm to this, other than the fact that Shigaraki just doesn't seem like an endgame villain to me yet. And maybe he can be. And like I said a million times, Horikoshi can write in that. I would just say it's very groundbreaking and probably unheard of to have the same main villain for 700 chapters, because that's what it feels like it needs to be. That's what it feels like it needs to be to make sense that he's now a world conquesting, like world dominance type villain.
Can't wait to see it.
And so what I'm saying, I guess to get this point,
it would be groundbreaking. It would be great.
To get to this point that you're to talk to what you're saying, is that what I'm saying is that we have been given multiple times in this story evidence that Shigaraki is growing in that direction. Yes, sure. He started as someone that even All For One was like, dude, you gotta fucking get with this picture here, dude. Like, no one likes you. And then and then it's revealed that like half of his team actually doesn't like Shigaraki. They like Stain. You know what I mean? And then he slowly is getting true followers, Redestro, and he legit convinced Gigento Machia. So all I'm saying is that I agree with you in a sense that yes, he is not
he's not there yet.
Final tier villain yet. But we are not given, we have been given tons of data that says he's approaching that. He's approaching what you're asking for.
And I agree. At the end of the day, I agree. It's hard to disagree that Shigaraki has grown throughout this time and could grow into that. It's like I'm saying, like, this is groundbreaking and never done in another shonen that I could ever think
anyone's
of.
Gonna do it.
You
it's
have
Kohei.
the same villain. Exactly right, but you'll have the same main villain and boss for 700 chapters, because that's what we need to make this pretty much make sense, or at least because like look at what's happening right now. Like this is going to be a full scale like change of fucking landscape of this whole entire fucking story.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that it's not possible, because I'm totally am, you know, and I actually have, like I was saying in whatever other segment earlier, I was saying like it's looking less likely that what I'm saying just with this chapter alone, which can go back and forth, right?
Yeah.
It's not firm, but the thing that really hit me on this one, let me see what I said. The first person to possess One for All looks exactly like Shigaraki. Has a creepy ass hand going forward. So it's like maybe there's something to that where fucking, you know, One for All's like, hey, not only does he have the things, you know, some of the boxes checked, because at the end of the day he does not have all boxes checked. As far as like full conquest, fucking real, to take on the grand fucking aspirations of a One for All like
for one.
Shigaraki, All for
hard,
One does not. I know it's so hard. I know. I got them right. I try to write them down too.
Yeah, just so you can look at them back to back.
I know. But like the grand aspirations of a One for All, like Shigaraki really, I don't feel him embodying that yet. But again, we've said it can happen and it's not impossible. It'll take some time.
Can I also, again, I don't want to take too much time on this, I suppose, because I feel like we just talked about this like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I just want to say again, Deku also is not All Might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're both growing together. Isn't it poetic to write the hero growing and the villain?
Yeah.
I think that's phenomenal writing. I just think that's a good. I think it's a good pattern.
It's kind of the only reason why it seems odd, right? Is because they're being like constantly juxtaposed and they're growing together. Whereas like in other series, the main end villain is always
already
there.
He's already the bad.
He's already making moves in the world how he does. But we just don't know him yet.
And as Kiko said, like this is kind of unprecedented, you know what I mean? We don't get this. We don't get this in other stories, and I think that's a good thing.
It's a very good thing. It's a very good.
So
getting back to the chapter, though.
Okay. So can I?
Yes.
Lead us in here to getting back to the chapter.
Sure.
I fucking told you all about Crust.
Did you?
Crust is trash, and he got taken out like the trash. He went out beautifully. Like trash.
He went out beautifully, and he went out embodying everything.
Oh, beautiful trash.
Yeah, beautiful trash is fine, but dude, when
he was getting thrown in that trash can, he was shining like gold.
When that Nomu grabs Aizawa's leg, I was like, no, and then you see the fucking Crust wheel come down. The shield bash.
I'll grant you that was cool. He gave the thumbs up.
Yes. Terminator 2. He looks just like All Might, but I felt
Is that All Might foreshadowing?
Well, I just maybe
foreshadowing how?
Foreshadowing his death.
I mean, just that he's gonna,
die like that.
Honestly,
that would be crazy.
I mean, but I told you all, this guy, we didn't get any. We got like 5 speech bubbles of dialogue. He was in like maybe 20 pages tops.
But he still made.
Am I supposed to care about this guy? Am I supposed to care?
I mean,
because I don't care.
On paper, no. But like in the narrative,
I cared.
Manga is paper.
I feel like,
no.
I cared, but I'm soft. I cared, but I'm soft. Like I was like, no.
Yeah, he made a bigger impact than any other character would have in the amount of time that he's been on screen, in my opinion. Right, sure. It's not a big grandiose, like he's not like a,
He gave a great thumbs up.
Well, dude, it's so much more than just like the surface like level like what he did. Like he like literally, as far as what we know about heroes, we could tell, even though we didn't get background on him, even though we didn't get a lot of dialogue, we know that he's the kind of hero that is meant to be in the position that he's in. He selflessly sacrificed himself for the sake of another person and went out smiling.
I mean, but was he gonna escape anyway?
I mean, all we got of this character is, first off, nothing. Then we were told he's the number 5 hero. Then we saw him a couple times making some shields. Then he died after cutting off Nomu's arm and saving Aizawa, which was tight.
Yeah.
I won't say that wasn't tight, and I won't say I wasn't worried for Aizawa. but he died, and we got nothing about him. We got no background, no motivation, no struggle.
We could get a flashback.
It's similar to a spirit guardian. It's similar to a spirit guardian. It's the same thing as a spirit guardian.
I feel like this is a lot better. I feel like this was done way better than
two episodes ago. It was like 3 weeks ago. We were literally having this conversation. I told you all, prove me wrong if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm going to be wrong. This character is going to be completely meaningless, and he is completely meaningless. He's completely meaningless.
No more meaningful than Exless.
He's more meaningful than Exless because he saved somebody.
He saved Aizawa.
Yeah, he saved Aizawa. So he did something.
But see, like that's the thing. I feel like it's more. I feel like it's more meaningful than the Spirit Guardians in Black Clover because we literally saw them do nothing and they were beaten.
Yeah, they were just Yamcha cratered.
Yeah,
they were just in a Yamcha crater and they got nothing about them,
bro.
But they trained the people that did.
Yeah,
beat
they trained the people. Yeah,
so
we got him in the flashbacks.
That's more than fucking Crust did.
Yeah,
Crust did nothing.
So we could get a flashback for Crust. We could.
Wait, did we see them training people?
Yeah, in the flashbacks, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The Spirit Guardians trained.
In
the
the
people that
flashbacks.
fought. Yeah. They trained Leo and fucking
So we got a couple dialogue bubbles for them, training them, and then they were washed. We didn't see them get washed. We just saw them beaten, but still.
Let me ask you different.
There's no difference to me. They're the same thing.
I mean, we saw Crust fight. And he saved the life of an important character. And he went out like smiling.
We saw him put up shields. We didn't see him fight.
I mean, we saw him fighting twice. We saw him putting up the shields. We saw him use the shields defensively and offensively. Yeah, we did.
To me, fighting means you have. Yeah. To me, fighting.
A couple pages at least.
Yeah, he didn't get a fight. Yeah, he didn't get a fight. But like
we know he can fight.
Then that's the same amount. That's actually less than Spirit Guardians got because Spirit Guardians got more than 2 pages of fighting.
Yeah, I mean, did they? Weren't they just?
I mean, no, 2 panels. I'm sorry, 2 panels. Crust has like 2 panels, not 2 pages. 2 panels.
But didn't we just see like the Spirit Guardians just defeated? Didn't we like not even see them?
Yeah, a lot of them were just in a crater.
Yeah, they were just already done. Yeah,
that might be. But there was like, but then they have fucking flashback fucking
of them talking,
panels of them talking that Crust doesn't have.
Yeah, but I mean, we still got
panels.
We have panels.
But I'm just saying we should. This is an arbitrary argument. Regardless, they're both.
What's smellier trash?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fucking with Crust more than the Spirit.
Well, Crust had the will of D on the way out, so you got to give him the credit.
Yeah, you got to give him credit for that.
The smile.
Yeah, the smile and the thumbs up. But hey, let me talk about. Okay.
Get in here. Yeah, get in here.
Crust is dead. Crust is dead.
Yeah.
Exless is dead.
Yeah.
We know
how many heroes died?
So many.
Wow.
That's what I want to talk about. So
I have a big one to ask about. Keep going.
You see Wash, and Wash is saving people, and he's got shit in bubbles, and he's saving people. But you see the 2 heroes behind him get disintegrated.
Yep.
So I assume, and same thing with Pixie Bob. Pixie
Bob. Did Pixie Bob not die? I feel like she died.
So do you guys see who this is? Do you guys see who this is in this panel?
She's not dead yet.
Do you guys see who this is in this panel next to Wash? Do you guys see who this is in this panel next to Wash? Kamui Wood.
You think so?
Yeah. Wait, somebody mentioned
putting things into a truck?
No. Wash is there saving things with bubbles. The panel to the left of it is a random no-named hero behind him. It's clearly Kamui Wood being disintegrated.
Really? You think so?
You don't see that?
No, I don't think so.
Zoom in on it. Zoom in on it.
I'm zooming in on it.
Is that not his mask? Is that not his mask?
You're talking the left panel on page 14?
Yeah. Is that not his mask?
Yeah,
and is that
he's
not his
talking about
hand?
the guy to the right. No, that's not him.
That's not Kamui Wood?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'd bet everything on
it. Looks like
who does it look like? It looks
you don't kill a character that has that much Kamui Woods has been
looks like a random
20 times.
fucko hero.
It looks like Mecha. It looks like Mechamaru from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying like
I'm saying it. It looks like Kamui Wood to me.
It does not look like Kamui Wood to me. His head is too round. His top of head is too round.
Look up Kamui Wood.
Yeah,
I will. He has like
Kamui Woods has like a shield
wooden
like
head.
thing over his like a triangle.
That's what it looks like.
Thing head over.
Bro, look it up. It looks like his helmet. Tell me it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It's a regular head-shaped helmet. It's a regular head-shaped helmet.
Okay. All right.
How do you spell that shit?
Kamui,
K-A-M-U-I.
Woods.
Space Woods. Yeah.
Oh, Woods with an S. I see.
Yeah.
Oh, it is roundhead. Ugh.
Yeah, bro.
okay, it could be him.
Yeah, if you look at it when you look him up and then look back.
Okay, in that sense, the top of the head looks correct.
No, it's the bottom like this.
But the bottom of the head looks wrong. The bottom of the head looks wrong.
But at the same time, it could just be the
angle. It's shaped like Cricket's head.
It could be the angle. It could be the fact that it's just a small panel. You never know.
Chestnut Osan head, bro.
But if it is him, then that just goes like we could get a page like, okay, who are all the heroes that died? And then you could get like a devastating list of characters that died off screen.
I got way more than that. I got way more.
All right.
That's why. That's
okay. I will definitely say that no, not Kami would, but Pixie Bob is dead.
Okay.
No, not yet. Not on this. Not on this chapter because Pixie Bob did not get to use her quirk, which is Earth Flow. Her quirk counters what's happening right now.
Yeah.
She's going to try
you think the left panel in that is her using her quirk to divert
it totally looks
the
like
attack.
that. It totally looks like that.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. So good call.
Yeah, she's about to pull Earth up to try to start blocking it,
to make a wall.
Yeah.
Yes, or whatever it is, and Wash's quirk, with bubbles, he can like lift great fucking weight and put them in bubbles, and they just float, and he can float them to safety. So both of those two are going to try to use their quirks to start mitigating the damage of Shigaraki and both die in the process, which will happen probably next chapter or next couple.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, and that's clearly what Deku's like trying to do with his Air Force in the St. Louis Smash.
With his,
yeah.
So I don't think that you can kill these two characters that have had previous screen time without giving them the proper send-off. If Crust gets this much, Crust has nothing compared to Wash and Pixie Bob at this point. Wash and Pixie Bob have already been in the story.
But that would just add to the stakes.
Completely agree. I completely agree with you.
How dire the situation is that big name characters are just getting evaporated in this AOE attack. I feel like that would be crazy.
You can't evaporate Pixie Bob and Wash and then give Crust this much time. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well,
in that sense, completely agree.
Yeah,
100% agree. You are completely right. I totally agree with you.
And so yeah, I mean, and just the fact that both of their quirks are damage mitigation in this situation. Yes, and that they are about to die using their quirks to try to mitigate this damage, which is going to be much more impactful when you get to actually see them die instead of some off-panel nonsense. I jumped in front and I tried a thing and we never see you again. That's terrible.
I think it would be crazy if that happened. And it would just add to the disparity of the situation.
You need confirmation. You need confirmation, or I'm going to say the story is soft.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the confirmation can come in like in an anchor on TV saying the known heroes that have perished in this attack are Kamui Wood, Wash, Pixie Bob. You know what I'm saying?
But why would you do that without a flashback to how they died?
Maybe we'd get that too.
No, see,
exactly.
You don't do that. You don't do that thing unless you have like video of it happening, right?
Exactly. That's what I mean.
It would be very weird if the news cameras just so happened to capture every single hero that died that was popular. That would be very nonsensical. Yeah. So I completely agree that if these characters are to die, we as readers will at least get some panels of them having their last thoughts or saying their last words or doing something really notable before they end up dying or whatever. So I completely agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I think there'd be something meaningful and almost like realistic that puts us in the perspective of people actually living in this world. If all of a sudden it would kind of feel a lot more real and abrupt.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh shit! Like yesterday. Shit was fine. Now all these fucking heroes are dead, and I don't even know what the fuck happened.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, see, it would be okay, but we can't say definitively if they're dead. If the news says Pixie Bob and Wash are missing, and we have no idea what the fuck they are.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be good. That
is what the news would say too. The news would say
exactly.
that.
The news should say that, and then we should still get a flashback of why the fuck they're missing because they just got fucking evaporated, and we should still get a flashback on it, which is fine. But I just think that you have to see what happens in that situation. Like if they're just totally off screen and never talked about again, that's bad. That's not
right. Yeah, and we have to remember that this is manga. This is a visual medium, and so as much as I agree with you that if we were at home in this universe watching TV, we would not see any of these battles. We would not see a single battle, and we would just see on the news there was a big ass battle, and a lot of buildings got killed, and a lot of people got killed, and these heroes got killed. But that's not what we're signing up for reading this manga. We are reading this to see these events happen in real time.
That's
and
right.
so
You're right.
we will see these.
But yeah, that's all I had for Hero.
Oh, I still got some things.
You still have some things? Okay.
Tell me.
Yeah. First of all, I think that the next chapter should go back to the mansion and finish the plot line of Gigantomachia and like what's going on at the mansion before we go back to Shigaraki, because Shigaraki's the climax, right?
Yeah.
So like I
think it will.
Yeah, I feel like that's what should be the next steps. But a lot of people think it's gonna be Deku, Bakugo, and Shoto v Shigaraki. Like that's what the internet thinks is gonna happen. Like,
but
how? Like, what?
Think of all the chapters that recently, in like the last 10 or 15 or whatever, right? Where like it was super hype, and we were so excited for the next chapter. The next chapter is going to be the battle, and Horikoshi, like a good writer, trying to keep you on the edge of your seat, switch scenes on you. You know what I mean? Yeah. To a different area of the battle. We are not going to get a Deku versus Shigaraki in like 3 chapters. No way. Like we are going to go to other parts of the battle. No, I'm agreeing with you. The internet is wrong that we're not going to get this battle anytime soon.
Well, and I'm not saying anytime soon, but are you thinking that it's still possible? It doesn't matter, 10 chapters from now, whatever amount of chapters from now, that it's going to be Deku.
Oh, you're saying who it is?
The climax.
Shoto versus Shigaraki, a 3v1. Do you think that that's really going to happen?
Hell
like
no.
That's just that. I feel like Shigaraki just wipes the floor with him in an instant. If he doesn't, the story doesn't make sense. Like Shigaraki is way too fucking powerful to deal with 3 fucking middle school kids right now. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like that's crazy.
Even after their training and power ups, Like
right. I still really don't see how Deku ever catches up to Shigaraki at this point, unless it's a 5-year time skip where Deku gets to incorporate all the powers that have been passed down to him. Like it doesn't make any sense for Deku to be able to beat Shigaraki.
I would have completely agreed with you 50 chapters prior, right? Yeah. Before Shigaraki got his power up. You can't have this character and do a time skip. The time skip is completely out the window.
Is it?
Because what would the time skip be?
So who beats him?
Half of Japan is destroyed during this time skip. This dude can kill an entire city in an instant.
Yeah, I think so. I think that makes sense. That half of Japan.
That would completely change the entire manga.
The time skip could be Shigaraki using this overwhelming force to get out of this situation right now, win the fight on this raid, and then go into like further development of his character and his power, because obviously like he seems really confident here, but like all of this stuff like still has to be like relatively new to him, you know what I mean? So like he could be going, like he's not just going to be an AoE machine, you know what I mean? Any kind of conflict that happens, he's just going to evaporate the city around him.
What are you saying he'll do?
Like I'm just saying like maybe he'll like start like moving towards actual like villainous like control of the world, of the world around him. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like he's a deterrent of opposing forces. Like no one's gonna run up on him if he can just evaporate the city around him at any time.
So you're saying he's gonna start making demands?
Yeah, he's gonna start like moving.
He's gonna hold off. He's gonna say, look what I can do.
Yeah,
you got to do what I say. Otherwise, this.
Yeah, it's just gonna go into like an age of villainy for a little bit. Yeah,
I've said before in the show, I think a potential time skip thing could be where, like, Noxie was saying, he actually does start, now that he's like out here, he can fucking actually win this fight. Obviously his goal is to turn this fucking shit on its head and dismantle this hero system and just have a kind of an anarchist society where, people can have their quirks and do what they want and fuck around, and heroes ain't shit.
He's not just going to be a destruction bot and just
they could lead into the time skip by him actually beating the heroes, upending the government and the hero system in Japan, and taking Japan over and turning it into an anarchist society.
Yeah.
The heroes get run out of Japan and have to retreat to another area of the world that we desperately need at this point.
And that would
then
give
the beginning
it to me,
the beginning of the next phase of the story could be them further grown up. Now we want to try and maybe go back and take Japan back over.
Yeah, exactly.
I would be all about that. That would be the
you
that would be the
said it
best
perfectly,
thing
Eagle. That's
ever.
exactly where I was going.
Yeah, I agree with that too. That's 100% what I was going to say too, because I've been harping on this for probably years on how there's no government involved. You know, like we have no information about a fucking Japanese government involved, which is terrible at this point. Like we need that government.
Except for Hawks, right? Except for Hawks a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, Gorosei, level government. Is there actually any kind of like structure to this government whatsoever?
You're saying characters in the government that are named and have at least some motivation.
Like some motivations. Yeah, exactly.
One time that pops into my head where we got government suits was right before the school festival when we had like the 4 or 5 suit dudes like telling Principal Nezumi
after
like, you better keep this shit straight because if there's any hiccups, we're shutting this shit down. Type shit.
Yeah, and it's this is clearly a very slow burn, long running series at hand here. So if you have like obviously you want to like attribute it to like okay at this point in One Piece we got the Gorosei. You know what I mean? Like you can't really do that because like you never know like
we got the Gorosei 150 chapters.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So
about 130 chapters.
Right, but so like you want to say like how come we don't have that in Hero yet if One Piece is long as shit and we got this in 150 chapters? Obviously like. It doesn't need to follow that model, and it shouldn't follow.
It doesn't.
You know what I mean? If you want it to be here already, that's fine. That's a criticism you can have. That we should have had it by now, and that's fine. But I mean, like, it all depends on how it's handled when it does come. If it never comes, that's a really big problem, obviously. But if it does come, it all depends on how the writer decides to call back to the little tiny instances where it was hinted on, like Eagle was bringing up here. You know what I mean? Like if it comes to a full culmination of everything that we've been missing in the story is here now, and it was handled in a very like peppered in manner, then it's still going to be fine. You know what I mean? Like obviously if things happen the way that Eagle said, and obviously the government is going to have to intervene after a situation like this if it does develop the way that Eagle was talking about and that I was kind of like starting to talk about, then obviously other parts of the world are going to have to be involved after this.
We can't use the words government needs to intervene because they should have been involved the whole time.
Right, but like
and not only
we're going to get them now.
Not only that, like it's just man, it's just unfathomable that the government is not heavily involved with and what has been like. They've been saying that UA is the #1 hero school, right? Like number one. Okay, maybe they don't say the world. I don't know. Maybe they do, or maybe they don't. I don't know. But like, you can't use these terms #1 hero school and like Shiketsu's #2 hero school. But like those are it's like all we hear of, and it's I don't know. Like there's just nothing here to support that that's what's going to happen. Even though that's definitely what should happen. That needs to happen desperately and should have happened a while ago. Like we should have been skipping fucking school fucking festivals to get to this. Whatever we needed to do to make this shit happen. Like, but no, we're just right that the fact that during the Stain time, after Stain happened, we should have had a whole fucking Marie Joie arc where we go to fucking into government fucking offices and like shit starts to get, in depth with how this system actually works, because there's no fucking groundwork for how this hero system works at all, other than we have heroes that open up their own private hero agencies and they just fight heroes for pay. But it's like, who the fuck pays them? Like, what? Like, the government has to pay him because, and if the government's paying them, then we should have had this information. But
we can get that exposition at any time, and it'll link back to all of these things that you're talking about. Yeah, it'll link back to like obviously like he's trying to tell a story.
I think the
about
government exists in this story pretty arbitrarily.
Yeah,
I mean all of the hero, all the power is in the heroes.
Who pays them?
I don't know. Who pays the heroes?
Who pays the heroes?
I don't know.
The government, because they'll get washed. They're little bitches. They can't control the crime. Yeah, they need the heroes.
So they're getting paid via tax dollars, but we don't get to see any like background of that whatsoever. Like that's
we can get that at any time.
Why would we want to see tax information?
It's not that you want to see tax information.
You just want the exposition.
You want to see higher level exposition about not just Japan but other countries. You want to see if Japan actually has a plan for Shigaraki, if Japan even knows about Shigaraki more than the heroes do. Like there's a lot of storytelling elements that can happen at this higher level.
Like the Gorosei at chapter 140 are like, okay, we already knew about Monkey D. Luffy, but now we really need to fucking pay attention and make sure he doesn't get out of hand. Like they say right away, we already knew about him, and he already had a bounty because of the fucking shitty shit that happened on with Kobayashi. Like we know about him, and obviously we know that he's Dragon's son, and we know he's Garb's grandson. Like they know about him, but there's other reasons.
But the fact that we have all of these questions about it, Like the fact that we're having this conversation right now and going, okay, who's in charge of this?
It has to happen. It's now or never. If it doesn't happen now,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't really think that's the most apt
information. We can get the information now and have it tie back to all of these questions we're asking about why we don't have the information in all of these areas. All of those areas can be fleshed out and explained in 1 or 3 chapters.
I definitely agree with you, Keiko, that this is a now or never moment.
Yes, it is a now or never moment.
You have two. I think you have 2 major points here.
Yes.
One, if you have Shigaraki, who has a long-range disintegration technique that apparently exercises over like a kilometer,
cities,
maybe more than a kilometer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's Shoto, Deku, and Bakugo. They can't do it. It is not possible.
Yeah.
And if they do, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
So obviously they're
100%.
not going to fight Shigaraki. Maybe they'll slightly try and approach Shigaraki and then immediately say like, nope, we got to go.
Yeah.
So 1, they can't do it.
Yeah.
2, if you have a character, a villain, who has this ability, you have to take a drastic shift in storytelling to explain this, because this is not something you can just say, oh, he destroyed like an entire city and then just decided, I'm just gonna go
back
chill in my bar base. Where it's like it's a shitty bar or whatever, and like or the mansion that my followers had, like we're just gonna find a different mansion that isn't destroyed or whatever. Like it's not, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a major shift in the storytelling.
Yes.
It has to be. It has to be.
I agree.
You can't have a whole country system based on the protection of their civilians without having government involved. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Like
right.
it just
Definitely.
make any sense.
And I'm confident that
I think
we'll
it's
get
already
the
gotten past
exposition
the
on
point
that.
of government control.
Yeah, I think we'll get the exposition on it. I mean,
how do you get past the point of government control? Who funds these people?
That was in the opening.
So
a quirk came out one day. All of a sudden now,
and let me
started
back up.
getting out of control.
You're talking
Like
about
now
a libertarian
80% of the
society.
population has
You're
quirks.
talking about a libertarian society where I have to go personally pay out of my pocket a hero to go save me. That's the most ridiculous shit ever. Like, because how are heroes getting funding?
No, I'm saying
Kiko,
the government can no longer control the heroes. The heroes are what has to basically.
You can control everybody by money.
Yeah.
No, you can't, because this fucking dude will just murder you and take your money if he wants. The heroes are too strong.
No, you can't, because money's not a real thing.
Everyone
I don't think you know how the world economy works.
Tight is
money's
a hero.
not a real thing.
okay.
Everyone tight is a hero.
But how do you go take fake
Everyone
currency
tight is a
that's just
hero, so
computer,
there's nobody in the government that can put them in check.
There's just a such thing as, currency, and there's a such thing as like world currency, and what your country has, like it's you can't have a libertarian society. This makes no sense, where you have to go and pay a hero to put out a fire. Like in real life, do I pay a fireman to put my house, if my house is on fire, do I pay the fireman out of pocket to put my house out on fire? No. So where the fuck are heroes getting fucking funding? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, and this is coming from somebody who does this for a living. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, when I know how fucking local government works, like, and maybe Horikoshi doesn't and has no fucking, insight on this whatsoever. I don't believe it when you're writing a story this fucking in depth. Like, you have to put together the fact that there has to be a fucking overarching fucking governmental control on anything that's happening. That's why Chainsaw Man is good. That's why fucking Jujutsu Kaisen is good. They have these things that actually like overarch these fucking situations that make sense. Like it doesn't make sense at this point.
Yeah.
Let me jump in here a little bit. For the record, I completely agree with you, Kiko. But on the other hand, what if we got, because obviously what we're talking about here is that based on this huge plot development, there needs to be a significant shift in storytelling.
Yes.
I think we're all basically in agreement there.
Yes.
Now the disagreement is where is that shift going to go? Now, what if the shift
has to happen now.
What if the shift was that the heroes actually are taking the government hostage? And they are uncontrollable, and they are extorting the government of money to defend against villains, and now are found to be not enough to fight the villains. And it's not that the government can do anything about it. It's not that the government didn't know it couldn't happen.
Who's orchestrating that?
Yeah, who's orchestrating it, right? Exactly.
The rat principle? The rat principle is the mastermind of that whole situation?
Those questions are easily fixed with exposition. I'm just saying that, like, to answer your question about where's the money coming from relative to the government's power, if the government is actually kind of just giving the heroes money because they can't do anything else, they have no other power, all they have is like planes and guns and rocket launchers and tanks, which heroes obviously are way stronger than in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would actually make a lot of sense, that like the heroes are actually, and this ties into Dobby's point about how heroes are actually kind of like shitty to a degree. You could up that to 11 and all of a sudden say that like the heroes are actually kind of bad and extorting the government.
Yeah.
See.
And they also can't handle the villains, even though the heroes are still good. I mean,
we live in a capitalist country. That's so unrealistic to somebody who lives in a capitalist country that knows that money buys everything. Like we know that firsthand. And there's not just because you can't pay All Might off doesn't mean you can't pay Endeavor off, right? It's a case by case basis. So like if you did have,
but what are you saying? What are you saying then for a counter to
I'm saying that the heroes have to go on strike. They have to have a union and go on strike against the government and say, we will not accept any of your funds and we will not fucking fight for you and do anything. You have to have that in order for heroes to have leverage against the government.
You're saying that if heroes were mercenaries, in how I'm maybe hypothesizing, then they would not even fight Shigaraki. They would just turn tail and run because they're all cowards because they're only for money.
No.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm saying that you're saying that they're holding the government for hostage for money, right? And if
where else is the money coming from, other than taxes?
Yeah. No. Exactly. I mean, it is tax money, right? But if the government is being held hostage by the heroes, right? The heroes have to be 1,000% unified with a perfect fucking union where nobody's going to cross the picket line because they have to ultimately be on strike for that to happen.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, that's how strike works. Is that every single person has to say, I will not fight for the government until we get exactly what our demands are. But first of all, we know with Hawks that's not true because Hawks is already a government fucking agent, right?
Yeah.
And there's more of them. He's not the only one.
Right.
And on top of that, you can pay anybody off. You can't pay All Might off, but you can pay Endeavor off because he needs that for family research, right? So he will fight and he will cross the picket line because he's selfish and he wants to create the perfect hero that's better than All Might. So somebody like him is easily paid off to cross the picket line,
right?
And these are higher level like government issues, right? You have to look at, you know, like.
So this all goes back to what I was saying about how your main problems are: what is the government doing? How come we don't know what the government is doing? When are we going to get the information? Bottom line is, it can be fixed with exposition. We could very easily get the exposition from Horikoshi.
Can the exposition be too late to you?
Yeah, and I agree with you that it's now
and
or
how
never.
I agree.
I agree with you that it's now or never.
That's it. Yep.
But I just don't see a situation where an event like this happens and we don't finally get that information of what's going on in other parts of the world and what's going on with the government. If you
I'm not saying it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not going to happen. All I'm just saying is this is my case reinforcing the fact that if it doesn't happen, then it's probably not going to happen and it's never going to make sense. And this is a huge fucking gaping hole in this story.
And I agree
with that doesn't happen.
But
I also say you don't make this build up and not have a plan for it.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
Really? Like I would really hope that this guy has a plan for this build up because
and we can trust that he does. We can trust that he does. And just because just because we haven't gotten government stuff yet doesn't mean that Horikoshi is not like clearly showing us that he does have a plan for this kind of situation. He's very confident about this the story and where it's at right now. And I feel like we can this dude can write his ass off. I feel like everything that we need is going to come. It's all going to make sense following this arc.
Let me tell you, last thing I'll say.
I think the Hawks thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Go ahead, and then I'd like to interject.
Yeah. The only thing I'm going to say is that I think we can definitively say that everyone agrees this current chapter is bringing up the fact that we need NEED, not world building, a significant shift in storytelling.
Yes.
You cannot follow this shit up with the regular.
Yes.
Oh, Deku's just gonna fight him.
Yeah.
Can't happen.
Yes.
We need a big shift in storytelling, and I'm personally open to it and very excited for what it is.
Yeah. I'm open to it too.
I think it's gonna happen.
Yes,
I actually think it's gonna happen.
Me too.
I don't think you write this stuff and leave this huge hole.
Yes.
So that's all I had to say.
Go ahead,
Eagle.
Yep. Eagle.
What did you have to say?
It's fine. It's fine.
What?
All right. Well, then I'll say that even if we get this right now, it still feels a little late to me. But it's not that it can't salvage this. Like I feel like at this point it is salvaging, and it is.
If it's a 700, 800,000 page manga, chapter manga, this is not too late.
Like okay, so if Kohei comes in and writes everything perfectly, if Kohei comes in and it's not really retcon because we have these questions because the previous moments in the story.
But how when we've already had government suits? We've had government suits, but no background on them whatsoever.
Right,
They're just guys that show up and tell Nezu what's going on.
But it's not a.
Not every manga needs to have government people.
It's not a retcon because
one about modern day Japan does.
It's not a retcon because if there's pieces there that imply that the story was eventually going to go there, your only argument really is how come we haven't gotten it yet? Not like, oh, we're getting it now and it's later than I would have expected it to be. So that means that it's a retcon? No, because the pieces have been there. So there have been little peppered in pieces that lead to this.
You can't take it too firmly, right? Yeah. Like you can't take it too firmly. Like it could be like pseudo retcon, right? Like it could be something that was thought of later and that wasn't initially planned for and does seem late and does seem a little bit off, but it still fits. Like and it can be somewhere in the middle. Like it doesn't have to be full one way or the other. And I will say that Horikoshi could knock it out of the park. It's just that.
So if he does come back and give us all the information that you've been needing, is the fact that we haven't gotten it when you thought we did going to be enough to make it not okay?
It all depends how it's handled.
Exactly,
it all depends on how it's handled. And I will 1000% say if Horikoshi knocks it out of the park and just somehow makes this all fit perfectly to me and I'm like, okay, I feel good about this, I will admit it every time. That's what a sane person does. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, to have 275 chapters without a smidge of government in a modern day Japan, barely. It doesn't. A smidge is feels like too much of a word. Even like it's like a grain of sand. It's like what we were talking about. How you keep zooming out and zooming out and zooming out. Like that's us. We're a grain of sand on the beach. Like
I bet on the reread. I bet on the reread.
We're looking at the universe.
I bet on the reread we'll find more examples that we missed the first time.
Yeah, probably.
That's possible, and that's possible. But I just don't see anybody talking about it. When you go to the Reddits and you go to the fucking Twitter timelines, it's like nobody's
because this kind of shit is so far outside of the shonen mold that like people aren't gonna.
Doesn't matter,
that's not
man.
Gonna be
So is
things that people
Chainsaw
talk
Man,
about.
and people are saying shit about Chainsaw Man. So is Jujutsu Kaisen.
Well,
like people are saying these things, and you get to go see right on Twitter that people are like hitting these things all the time.
Yeah, but there's just so much.
People fine-tooth comb the shit out of this stuff, and they would have done it with Hero 20 times by now.
There's
if it was
just
there,
so much other shit like in your face about My Hero Academia that people would rather talk about on the internet, like power scaling and the slice of life aspect.
Because power scaling doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So like,
I mean, and I'm just to be fair, in any fucking superhero story, power scaling makes no sense because there's no way you have Uraraka, Ochaka on the same battlefield as somebody who has like faster than light capability because she would just die by being anywhere near her. So like, just like I was saying, like when we were watching, you're like, hey, watch this DC Universe fucking opening. It's like, no, the Joker should never even be able to stand next to the Flash, and that just doesn't make any sense because when he runs by him in the faster than light speed, he should get sucked into a vortex and be fucking molecularly decomposed into some fucking other thing, and it doesn't make any fucking sense because hero stories power scaling does not make sense.
Yeah, you have to suspend belief. You have to suspend belief to write. You have to suspend belief to write a fictional story. You know what I mean?
Oshako just punches any opponent into space forever.
Yeah, like you can't.
No gravity. Like, you're dead now.
Yeah, once you start like
the 2-hit combo.
Once you start trying to hold firm like real life.
She did it with a baseball.
Yeah, once you start trying to like hold firm real life physics to fictional stories, it's gonna get awkward no matter what. Obviously,
I know, but that's Eastern storytelling. Like when we talk about power scaling in Jujutsu Kaisen, every time it makes sense. Like,
because they're not doing things that are like crazy besides Gojo. Like Gojo is the only anomaly inside of that story to where,
and he still makes sense.
Yeah, he still makes sense. You can do it, but like there's just other aspects to like a Western storytelling that obviously I like Eastern storytelling better than Western storytelling, more.
But you have the biggest Western story background than any of us by far. Not close. Like we're all a drop in the bucket compared to your ocean of knowledge in fucking Western storytelling. And it's tough to argue this against you. But this is why I don't read it, because it doesn't make sense to me. You know, and it's hard to wrap my head around.
And it's not that the West hasn't
like
touched on the things
Superman
you're talking
and Batman
about.
are on the same fucking battlefield together, because that makes no fucking sense.
It's not that the West hasn't touched on these things that you're talking about, because the Flash does have a speed force. So when he runs past you and you're too close to it, you can get sucked into the speed force and be evaporated. You know what I mean? Like, they've touched on that before. It just doesn't happen every time, which is the part that doesn't make sense. You have to pick and choose like which things are like really real adhered to physics, and like which things you're just suspending belief so that you can tell a fictional story for it.
You just can't get involved with physics if you're not going to hold true to them. You can't just pick and choose what physics laws you want to follow and which ones you don't. And that's what's wrong with the hero stories in general. And it's tough.
It doesn't mean that they're not good stories, though. Doesn't mean that they're not good stories.
I'm not saying there's not good stories. And these characters are brilliantly written.
Yeah.
These characters are brilliantly written, and that's what you need to do in a hero story to make it compelling. Is that you have to have these deep hero fucking like you're getting deep within their personalities, because like you can't have Jujutsu Kaisen type fighting. You can't, because it's not going to make any fucking sense. It'll never make sense. You can't have, even with Ochako getting fucking like gunman martial arts, which was tight, man. I loved it. But like at the end of the day, like she still gets evaporated by like, different. It's just tough. It's just really tough to like put them in their categories. And it's just always going to be hard for me. And that's why it's like Shigaraki has to be, to me, more than just a decay quirk guy that okay, now he gets to steal abilities, which makes him infinitely more scary, but he has to have these world conquesting like traits that it just I have not felt yet. It's just I have not felt them yet. And if we do feel them, and I'm not, again, 1000% will never say that Horikoshi cannot make this work, because he can, and he's been writing a great story, but I'm just very, very skeptical.
Yeah,
and it's okay for me to be skeptical.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because hero stories innately don't make sense.
Right. Hell yeah.
Just innately.
We should really wrap this conversation.
Let me just say like three words, Reverend.
Yeah, that's fine.
I am blown away that we can really get heated in these hero discussions, man. Like that's cool. That is cool that we can have really
good,
strongly opinionated conversations.
All right, well, with that,
yes,
I think it's time to move into the piece de résistance. One Piece chapter 980. Fighting music.
Let's go.
And let me just say, Chicka-roo!
Yes. Yes.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about, man.
This was such a good
one. I've been saying for years, put some goddamn respect on Apu's name.
I do know what you're talking
about. Motherfuckers in the community don't want to.
Hey, man.
Because he looks funny. I say his power's OD. Motherfuckers don't want to listen.
Dude, his power
invisible sound waves weaponized.
Yeah,
the shit is OD.
And I have an idea of like how that's actually like going down, and we can definitely get into that. If you guys want to start at the cover, if you guys want to start at the cover story.
Well, cover page. We got to talk about cover page, right? Is it over yet? I mean, Lola, Mary, and Gotti. Like we really need Lola to marry Gotti and just end this shit, please. Lola, marry Gotti, please.
Yeah, man. It looks like this might be one of the last.
It makes sense thematically, because then it's reuniting the twins as well.
Yeah,
because she'll spend all her time with Capone's crew, and obviously, be with Chiffon.
Yes, sir. Fuck
him, no. Get that out of here.
Yeah, getting into the chapter. As we would expect from last chapter, Luffy activates right away, crushes this dude with a fucking elephant gun.
I almost feel bad for that guy. He was just kind of partying, and he's literally dead. He is fucking. He is dead.
Yeah, I mean, as a fat American who's partied before, I may have thrown some food at somebody at a party, and I don't want to get elephant gunned over that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think it's so cool. I mean, Zoro's entrance into this fucking chapter was amazing.
The best, and hilarious.
Was amazing. You know what I mean?
Hey, don't you just love to see the synergy between them two? He's like, yes, he threw Oshiraku on that girl.
No.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. First he's ridiculing him, like, bro, the fucking plan, dude. And he's like, they're wasting food. And he's like, they're wasting food? Oh, no. I'm cutting him to pieces.
Or I love that he said, like, I heard you were causing a commotion. I walked straight in this direction. The hell you did? Luffy did not go through some tower. You walked up some tower and you cut that tower in half? What are you talking about? You walked straight here. No way. Of course, that's Zoro for you.
yes.
So good.
And then we get some dialogue here from Queen that says there's someone in the Toby Roppo that he wants to directly remove from the pharmacist, right?
He wants to remove someone. He wants to remove someone. He wants to remove Luffy and Zoro.
Oh.
And what he will do is remove someone from the Toby Roppo as incentive for everyone to do what he's saying, which is kill Luffy and Zoro, and then their reward will be the ability to be in the Toby Roppo if they do that.
Yes.
But last chapter we just had Sasaki and Who's Who talking about how they're about to fight one of the headliners, or wait, what are these? What are they called? Not headliners. They're
All-Stars.
All-Stars. Yeah, one of the All-Stars for their position. And
are they the headliners?
And
yeah,
no. They're the All-Stars, not the headliners. I don't think. Headliners
Jack,
are
Queen, and King.
Yeah, Jack, Queen, and King. Yeah. The headliners are I forgot what his name is. The dude with the line in the stomach.
The
line in the stomach guy. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Fucking what was
the dude with the
name?
line with his stomach?
Oh,
his name was.
The lead performers.
Yeah, the lead performers. Yeah, and it was All-Stars previously.
Hold'em.
Yeah,
sure,
lead performers.
Yeah,
Hold'em. Yeah, Hold'em is a headline.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas Jack, Queen, and King are All-Stars or what did you call them?
Hawkins
lead
is
performers.
Lead performers.
Yeah. So like the lead performers are now on the chopping block basically, and the Toby Roppo can take their spot right now. One of the Toby Roppo can fight whatever, one of the All-Stars they want now. And if they beat them, they get to take their spot. And who knows what happens to an All-Star? Maybe they fall to a Toby Roppo. But like with this dialogue here, Queen's basically making sound like they're basically out of the crew, and we need somebody to refill that Toby Roppo spot who's about to take a fucking All-Star spot. Or I just kill them, for trying to fight me, and we're gonna need somebody to fill a Toby Roppo spot anyway. Either way, like a Toby Roppo spot needs to be filled.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is separate from the whole agreement with Kaido because he's not there, so he has nothing. He has no idea about that agreement that was made.
Totally separate.
And I agree with that. I agree with that. But I mean, these people have history, like this wasn't a surprise to King or Jack. King and Jack right away were like, bet, let's go. They knew there's animosity between the two. So like I wouldn't say that that's like a foregone conclusion for sure. That sure, Queen doesn't know about that conversation exactly, but doesn't mean he doesn't know about the situation in general.
Right.
Well, but I totally agree with Eagle here that like these are separate instances that on the one hand, Kaido is agreed. Yeah. Go ahead and do this thing, and if you do, I will let you fight one of the lead performers and become one of them, potentially, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And at the same time, Queen is saying, completely separate from that, if any of you kill Luffy and Zoro, that's what he's implying, I will personally kill a Toby Roppo or evict one of them, and then that will give you the potential to be in the Toby Roppo that just it frees up a spot.
The way that it's worded,
totally separate.
And maybe it's Viz's translation, but the way that it's worded, Queen says first, as it so happens, I got someone I want to erase right now.
Yeah, Zoro and Luffy. They're literally talking about Zoro and Luffy right then.
Okay, if that's what you're taking it, I took it as he wants to erase in. He wants somebody he wants to erase in the Toby.
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought too.
Apu just said like, hey, you run this jail. Your fucking inmates just escaped, son. Like, do you see this?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, as it happens, I do have someone I want to kill. You could be right.
Yeah, it could go either way.
And why is it someone when there's two targets in front of him?
Yeah, that's true too.
I have two people right here that I need you to erase. Like,
you could be right. You could be right.
Yeah, for sure. But then we got, Fodder-chan over here in the bottom left panel that says, hey, I'm not a gifter, so like that's probably not like a realistic goal for me anyway. So I'm gonna just get faded. You guys go ahead.
So glad you brought that up because that just like reinforces everything that's going along, keeps power scaling in check, all that things. It's like, hey, why would I try? I'm just a fucking a pleasure or whatever. I'm under a gifter, so I have no chance at whatever this is. So I'm about to just get drunk and get lit. Let's go.
Right.
I love that.
Or is there like a waiter like wanting to do the challenge but hasn't gotten it yet or something? I forget what it's called.
Either way, waiter or pleasure has no chance. Like a gifter's the only one who has a chance at the spot of the ropo.
And then I love the display of Apu's powers here, but we've seen these moves already. These are pretty much the exact same move that he used against Kizaru in Shibandi. The one that slices off his arm, we could probably assume is the one that slashes Zoro. The one that explodes Luffy, same one that explodes Kizaru. I'm pretty sure they're the exact same move if you look it up on the wiki or whatever.
Same ones.
What about the punch?
Shan and Boom. Yeah, the punch is
I think is new.
One.
I think the punch is
new.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just
Bop.
Yeah, but it's just cool to see his power display here. And people on the internet are talking about how like Luffy and Zoro are taking these L's to Apu. Like, what does that mean? Is Apu stronger than these guys? I think that they're exaggerating just because a character gets caught off guard. Just because a character gets caught off guard and takes damage from a fucking weird ass ability that they have no idea about does not mean that character is stronger than them. Yeah, Luffy's kind of like knocked out here for a second, but he's right back up. Like he just took the damage, and it took a couple extra panels for him to really like realize the damage that he took and like come back from it. You know what I mean? If this was if this was a real 1v1 Luffy versus Apu situation and he took that attack, he'd probably be laying there for a second, and Apu would like talk some shit, and then Luffy would get back up and continue.
People have to realize that this is not a 1v1 fight.
Yeah.
It's not even a 2v1 fight. Yeah. It's a 2v like 5,000 fight.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of chaos going.
They can't just sit around and fight one guy. They don't even want to fight Apu. They'd rather just leave the situation. Exactly. So like this is not a good example.
I mean, it's not hard to get caught off guard by an ability like Apu's. You can't. It's invisible, weaponized sound waves. What the fuck are you supposed to do? Even if you know all about his ability, still hard as fuck to deal with.
And I think the reason
how the fuck do you know where the attacks are even coming from? You don't, unless you got ODS observation hockey. And that's still an assumption.
And that's the thing.
Luffy does, and still didn't dodge any of it.
Luffy does, and Kizaru
he has to channel it. The future sight has to be activated.
But still, like even though like you can assume that Kizaru has OD levels of observation hockey too, just given his position and his experience. So I think the reason why Apu's ability is as broken as it is because if you hear it, it has to hit you, and that could mean So like you know what I mean? Because he says here and if you go back to Shibandi. He like says some things like, "Can you hear it? Can you hear what I'm playing? It's fighting music. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of like little hints that I feel like go into, that idea that I have or that theory that I have about his ability. So like, if it really comes down to it, like if you plug your ears, maybe you can fucking like fight this dude. You know what I mean? Like, and if you can't hear the ability, that might be the counter. Plug your ears, and then he has to box you with like hockey or something like that. You know what I mean?
I think of when you say that. Cool. Yeah. Is Yu Yu Hakusho, Rando. He's telling the fucking, he has the fucking moss in his ear and he can't hear the chant, so he doesn't get affected by it.
So it hurts Rando instead. That's a little bit, that's probably not the case. Like,
I know, I'm not saying that, it doesn't reflect on him. But
it does remind me of Rando. Yeah. But I think that would be really cool. I think that would be really cool for Apu's character, because obviously everyone in this area is hearing this fighting music, but he still is dictating where the damage goes. And I think that is just like his will. His will dictates who takes the damage. Even though everyone is hearing this music, it's not. I don't think it's just like the sound waves themselves are dangerous. I think it's him dictating who takes the damage. And if you can hear if you can hear it, it has to hit you. That's why Kizaru got hit. And I think the fact that Kizaru's a Logia and Apu is not his direct elemental counter and wasn't using Haki when he damaged him is further evidence that it is, you hear it, you take the damage.
See, but Kizaru wasn't really damaged. Even if it hits him, he's not
right.
Because he's a Logia.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, otherwise, why didn't it just not work? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think the fact that it's not his direct elemental counter and he wasn't using Haki, but the damage still got through, whether it actually hurt him or not, it still affected his Logia body. I think it's because that's the condition of Apu's ability, is that if you hear it, you have to get hit by it.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's very safe to say that because it's either if the sound waves hit you, that's the ability, or you hear it. Those are literally the same sentence. You know what I mean? Like if the sound waves hit you, you hear it.
No, they're not. No,
it's not the same thing.
Sure. If it touches you,
if the vibrations touch your body, no, because sound waves are vibration. If the vibration touches your body, it cuts your arm up. Yeah, I think it's very different. And for the most part, I agree.
So I guess I don't think it's hearing. I think it's touching.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is like it's really hard to get on board with like the you have to hear it part. That's the only part that kind of strings me up. Like, because they're really, even though you do have the dialogue with Apu, like, you hear what I'm, you're bringing.
He's a DJ, of course he'll say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't mean it's not a hint. It would be very One Piece for that to be an aspect. It would be
completely true.
Yeah, it'd be very One Piece for that to be an aspect.
It could be a hint that it is part of the ability. 100%.
Yeah. It's hard to get on board with something like sound waves having to be heard in order to be effective, just as a rule. Yeah. But it's One Piece, like we're saying.
Yeah, it's a very magical energy. Like this is a very magic. Like double flips are very magical. You know what I mean? It's not.
There's no way to sit here and like apply firm logic to what's going on in any Oda situation.
Yeah, right. So in the spectrum of One Piece abilities, this is definitely on the magic end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Of like, definitely. How does it work exactly? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if we are gonna get into crazy like the actuality of what sound waves mean, magnetism has dominion over sound waves, and magnets can control sound and can alter sound. And so what is, like, if Apu gets up and fights Kid, what kind of crazy applications could Oda use in this fight to just make this shit interesting? Because like magnetism totally alters and controls sound and can like totally distort it and like just totally fuck it up completely.
Yeah.
Right. Or is Kid a hard counter to Apu? Yeah. And it isn't that
exactly.
And that it isn't. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. But if it is, you hear it and you take the damage, then like because
Kid wouldn't.
He's a hard counter. He's a hard counter vibrationally, right? So like magnetism versus vibration, he's a hard counter. But if the magical aspect of his fruit is a condition that if you hear it, you have to take damage, then obviously Kid doesn't hard counter him. But either way, he smashes him with a gigantic metal fucking hand inside of Metal Gibson. Yeah, and
that works too.
Yeah,
right?
This chapter is just sneak attacks. You know what I mean? It's literally just like back to back fucking sneak attacks. And and people saying that like this is hard evidence for like scaling in one direction or whatever with these characters, and it's like, bro, these fights are so situational. You know what I mean? Like if you're just waiting for One Piece to give you feats, if you're just sitting here waiting for One Piece to give characters feats that you can argue who's stronger or who's better than like whatever, then it's like I feel like you're not really like paying attention to the story.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Unless these motherfuckers like get and stand on fucking Final Destination Super Smash Brothers map and fight each other 1v1 from max HP to no HP.
No platforms.
No items, no, you know what I'm saying? No platforms, like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like people are trying too hard.
Yeah.
With One Piece.
I will actually let me give you two examples why that's just the wrong way to view One Piece.
Yeah.
One, Luffy versus Crocodile.
Yes.
Where Crocodile is a Logia type.
Yes.
And Luffy doesn't have Haki, shouldn't be able to beat Crocodile, uses water to 1, undo Crocodile's attacks, and 2, hit Crocodile. Second example, Enel. Yeah. Luffy's a hard counter.
Yes.
And Enel has mantra, has observation Haki.
Yeah.
Like the power scaling does not work in this way. There are characters that are super high powered, and Haki, I would say Haki to a large degree does operate in the power scaling scale.
Something crazy.
It's just very matchup based. It's just very matchup based.
I'm mostly done. All I'm saying is that if people are looking for like, oh, Luffy and Zoro ran away from Apu, that means Apu is stronger. That is not what it means. It just means that this is a story. It's a situation in which that made sense. That's just good, right? I mean, that's just
not writing the story so that you can create a hierarchy of which characters are better.
Exactly.
Than others. You know what I mean? He's telling a fucking story that has to develop in a certain way so that the point of the fucking narrative can move in a certain direction. And things are going to happen in conflict where characters take damage, characters give damage to other characters. Like if that's your fucking like main thing that you come to One Piece for is power scaling, you're fucking weird. You're a fucking weird ass motherfucker, dude. I'm sorry.
You have to spend a long time organizing like the 900 characters that have backstories. Who's stronger, Ivanka or Crocodile?
Yeah, like, are you even enjoying the fucking story anymore, or are you just waiting for fucking
what's the point?
Give you feats to argue with and push agendas with?
1000%.
Get your weird ass away from this fucking comic book so that I can fucking actually talk about how good of a fucking story it is with people that actually like One Piece. Like, you're weird as shit.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Damn.
So Kiko, what are you talking about?
Just the fact that this is just like an on the spot thought that you spurred from me, because you talked about NL and Mantra and the fact that NL, when Luffy's fighting NL and he's doing fucking Gatling gun, NL catches both arms. Like, your arms don't actually multiply, right? Like, you know that, right? Like, I know that clearly because I stopped him. Boom.
Yeah.
Right.
But when Luffy fucking starts punching and ricocheting his punches off the back of the fucking arc Maxim or whatever the fuck it's called, and he's bouncing them. Think about that. I mean, maybe somebody with fucking lightning ability plus mantra / observation haki probably has top tier fucking observation haki, right? But he cannot predict the bounces, the unpredictable bounces that have nothing to do, like, there's no rhyme or reason to them. Like, is that going to be a hard counter to fucking observation haki in the future? Like, Luffy's bouncing ability?
Well, I mean, we saw that again in Katakuri, didn't we?
Not really. Katakuri predicted them though, even when they were bouncing.
But they were just moving too fast for him to dodge.
Because they were intent on him. There was intent on them because he's turning them with Culverine and Black Mamba himself.
Oh yeah,
he's turning them. There's intent on those.
I don't know. I guess it's been a while since I've read that arc. You know what I mean? It's been a while for all of us, but
that's too much maybe to go into right now.
I don't think it is intent based. This is exactly what I was saying earlier in today's podcast, that just because you can see something happen that's really fast, or just because you can tell the future, doesn't mean you can dodge it.
Yeah.
He saw the future and saw that the future was him getting punched in the face. There's nothing you can do about it. You're not that fast. Yeah. And Luffy was
that
faster.
Doesn't make any sense in Eneru when he's already grabbed Gatling gun and stopped it, right? Boom, like nothing. And it was a low defeat to him. All of a sudden he can't predict.
But he didn't have predictive mantra. He didn't have predictive mantra. He just had like some extra sensory ability.
Well, but that's a wait. You're saying that NL never actually has observation.
Future sight. Not future sight. Not future sight. He just had good observation. Yeah. Usopp has observation haki. He doesn't have future sight. Future sight is an enhanced version of observation haki. And Enel only has observation haki.
Yeah.
And I
not
agree.
Future sight.
No. I guess I agree. But it's why do you need future sight to grab blows that are bouncing off of a wooden plank when you just grabbed them that were the same exact speed in front of you? Like, what does future sight have to do with it? If you have mantra, you should be able to predict, like, the, you know, to me, I mean, it's kind of
mantra is like a spider sense. You know, like instinctually how you have to move.
Mantra is intent. Mantra is intent. I'm going to hit you. Okay, I know you're going to hit me. I'm going to stop you.
Yeah.
You can't do that with a ricochet because I'm not trying to hit you, therefore I can't sense what you're doing. But Katakuri can go, I see in the future literally what you're going to do, which is bounce something off a wall and hit me, so I can block that. So that's the difference.
But Luffy wasn't bouncing him off the wall. He was bouncing him off the air with basically he
was fast enough that it doesn't matter if you can tell the future, it's still going to hit you.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, Enel, he could also beat Enel easily. With that level of speed, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but it's still unfathomable, like, that you would have more speed than somebody with a lightning Logia.
Yeah, that's the suspension of belief, so that a fictional story can
let's
be
go
told.
back to the. I mean, that was just like an on-the-fly thought that came out of nowhere.
For
basically,
sure.
I don't actually have anything more to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, we got to Punk Gibson. I mean, like, it's basically just like action. I mean, the point of the chapter is showing Apu's ability, all these sneak attacks, getting the dialogue from Queen that's going to show like the future of, you know, the next couple chapters or whatnot. You know what I mean? And just like getting durability feats from Zoro and Luffy. You know what I mean? And
that's the thing. Like, I'm glad you say durability feats though, because that does make me think. Because obviously we've seen Twitter go crazy all week, right? Like, or for the last couple of days since Friday, since the leaks came out or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got people that are just crazy on the Sanji v Zoro nonsense, which is just out of hand.
I don't understand. Where's this coming from? Like, what does Sanji have to do with the chapter at all?
That's not a conversation that we need to have.
I don't want to have it. I guess if you give me like a 5 second.
And I'm sorry that I even brought it up because I'm not really going there. What I'm going there with is that people are saying that Zoro took damage, and sure he did take damage, but like,
so what?
Okay, no. I'm just saying, like what amount of damage did Zoro really take by getting an X cut across his chest? Like it's basically.
It wasn't even. It was just a slash. It wasn't an X.
It's a superficial cut that basically means nothing, right? Like it doesn't actually. Where Luffy's is a little bit more weird. He's actually out, which is very questionable. That really raises a red flag to me. Like you were actually knocked out for this.
Yeah.
Like that. It raises a red flag. Yeah, sure. And we can chalk it up to that, and that's totally fine. I'm not gonna try to delve too much into that. But like, I'm just thinking back, like people are like Zoro took damage and like this and that on fucking Twitter, and it's like, man, that's just going too far. Like he got stabbed by fucking Kabaji in the fucking 5th chapter, and then kicked in the fucking same wound like 6 fucking times, and still beasted out of it. So like, what is this tiny little fucking scar on his chest? Like that's nothing.
Yeah, people going crazy. Like Zoro took a huge L. Luffy took a huge
Sanji's
L.
The best. It's like I don't want to get into that. It's like
I don't even know like what an L even means in this community anymore. You know what I mean? Like any damage is an L. These motherfuckers are gonna take damage. It's a fucking shonen manga. Like you really think that like anytime a character takes damage is an L for the character? You're reading One Piece for the wrong reasons. Get the fuck over yourself in this weird ass fucking like power scaling beef you have with other Twitter accounts. Like shut the fuck up. Read the fucking story. Like no one lost here. They're up and fighting in the next page. Like what the fuck are you talking about? You're fucking insane. You're weird as shit.
All right then. That'll do it for this episode of the Project Manga podcast. Make sure you slap a like on this video if you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit that noti bell so we can chirp you with our newest content later on. Make sure you visit that link tree. Make sure you actually visit the comment section first.
Yes.
Let us know what you thought about this weekend jump, or just any thoughts you had, in general, questions. You want to reprimand us? Have at it. As well, go ahead and visit that link tree in the description box down below, where you can find the links to any and all of our online communities, audio listening platforms to consume the podcast on, as well as links to donate and support the podcast if you would be so inclined.
Yes.
And with all that said, this will be another spectacular episode of the Project Manga podcast. Wrapping up, I'm your host, Eagle.
I'm Kiko.
Noxie.
And Nickums.